Ignore.
Thing. It's supposed to be on that one. I can put you back up here. This is the
Boy.
podcast that drinks and knows things. And yeah, this is how we live our lives sometimes. I am Luke. I am here basically just trying to induce some beautiful, wonderful thoughts from our first time watcher, Abby. Go home. Gertie, what's up?
Oh, nothing. You have a difficult job over there. You work magic, you put wrong things in wrong boxes, you have to get good ideas,
Oh man.
thoughts. You have a difficult life.
And then one thing goes wrong and then the whole ship sinks. But, Abby,
Kinda like yeah,
you're
never
good
mind.
enough, you're smart enough, and god darn it, people like you. And I like you too. So,
Thank
we
you.
are here talking about Game of Thrones Season 7, Episode 3, The Queen's Justice. This is not our full-blown episode for Drinks and Knows, where we have all of our hosts and fun guests and things. This is boring old Abby with her boring old thoughts.
Womp
Womp
womp.
womp. No, so this is Abby's initial takes on the season 7 episodes, so that we can kind of have a little bit more in depth or cover some topics we haven't discussed previously on the first time run through, which you will get after Abby's initial thoughts here. We are going to rebroadcast a video that's been privatized since for a while now. Luke, Ben, and Glenn's initial takes on this episode, so you'll get everyone's first unabashed takes. So, enough out of me. We're gonna get right into it. Abby, the floor is yours.
Thank you, thank you. We forgot one important thing for our show, which is amazing. You forget nothing. What are you drinking?
What am I drinking? I am drinking a beer
A
from
beer.
Blue Moon, which is funny because as I was briefly setting this up and listening back, that's what some of us were drinking in the studio back when we first recorded the original episode too. So
I can't lie about that. As he was setting it up, I almost thought like all the guys were there, and I was like, "Oh wow, how sweet of them! They all want to like hear it." And then I realized it's an old video, and they're doing their own things
including
because
Mr. Narrow C, who I think has yet to be like in the rebroadcasts, yet to be named Mr. Narrow C. That might be this episode.
oh, I can't wait for it. I heard him, but I didn't hear Mr. Narossi himself. So we'll listen bated breath for that one.
What are you drinking?
Oh well, I have a Dublin Black River Red.
Oh man, that just feels right.
It is right, and I'm really worried because I had a severe allergic reaction over the weekend, like the day after we live streamed. Like anaphylactic shock. I am now a proud owner of an EpiPen, and I had some wine last night, and I started getting puffy.
Oh
And
no.
so we're gonna see. We're gonna put it to the test. If I die,
If
call
you're allergic
911.
to Duplin Black River
My
Red,
life is over. Or if they like changed the
we'd have to kick you off the
something.
show, I think.
If they change something, I'm going there. I'm going to
They changed the
protest.
yeast on you, the
Like
yeast strain.
based or something. Yeah. Like, oh man, it was nuts. Anyways, more on that. I hope it was just a bug. We're gonna hope with it.
Yeah.
I
I'm
hope.
hoping you were just like legit sick about something like anything else. Don't
Anything
lose the
else.
Duplin.
Yeah, and like I don't really drink Starbucks coffee because I'm real cheap. So that was the only other thing I had like within a couple hours. So maybe it's Starbucks.
If you had to
I'm
choose.
I'm allergic to rich things or like, things that cost a lot of money for coffee. Anyway, so tonight's episode, The Queen's Justice, which we will go over like the name and title in the show,
Mhm.
but as initial thoughts, it wasn't necessarily what I thought, like, spot on. I don't really know.
Mhm.
Maybe I'm missing something justice-wise. I don't have huge qualms with it. I feel like, "Here comes the queen" or something. I don't really know. Would have been better. Not really, but just okay, sure.
Okay.
Um, I will say too, like, moving through the shows, I have always been very, this is a maze or it's a hunt, and I'm looking for things, and I'm looking for, clues, and I've been invested, definitely. Like, from season 1, I have definitely been invested. I've enjoyed it this whole time, but I feel like knowing that this is the end, my anxiety watching these is, like, very high,
Mhm.
and I'm like, "Okay, alright. Oh god, like, Danny, why are you saying that? John, okay, yeah, like, cool, I'm glad you didn't bend the knee, but what what ramifications come, like, it is
Mhm.
making me, in real life, become nervous, like, definitely anxiety filled. I'm just like, "Oh, please make it out of here, please." Like, "Oh, jeez." So, definitely the characters are people that I would probably, in the future, say like, "Oh, hey, yeah, one time my friend did that," and then realize it was, like, Jamie Lannister did it on TV, not my friends, because they're real to me. Um,
You know, my friends, just me and
anyway,
Jamie and
I
Tyrion. We were just
so
hanging out Saturday night. It's no big deal.
sadly, it's not even, like, a cool show. One time I told a story about my friend did that one time and blah, blah, blah." I get through the whole thing, and it was about Rory Gilmore.
Oh.
So, I was like, "Oh, wait, just kidding." Like, should've been a cooler show, but it happens. So we'll start off here. We'll just pick a couple people to talk about. Um, Cersei.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, she
Like,
had some fun stuff this episode.
super fun, number 1. Like, I'm not a Cersei hater of everything. I disagree with her, like, battle stance or where she stands becoming the queen at any cost. I don't like that, but her
Mhm.
personally, she's okay. We'll start with, Alaria and Cersei. First of all, you had all that coming. Like, you had I have no qualms with what Cersei did there. Alaria started that. This was a oh man, why can't I think of what Oberyn did, to the mountain? What is that called?
Taunted or
What? No,
what?
like the fight, like, instead of a trial, you have a something by combat,
Trial
trial
by
by combat.
combat?
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Trial by
So
wombat? Yeah.
yes. So, like, Oberyn, free will, went in there, did that, great. He lost. He had him beat and he lost.
Mhm.
So, that's Oberyn's fault. Like, her misplaced anger at getting back at the Lannisters has been ridiculous the whole time. Um, and next, what did she gain except for a vicious enemy from doing that to Myrcella? Marcella? Micella?
Myrcella, MYR.
Marcella, okay. So,
Frankincense and Myrcella.
frankincense, and I like that, I will never mispronounce that one again. So, she and it's her kid. Like, you don't touch the kids. That child did nothing wrong to you. You did that to be spiteful, and guess what? This is an eye for an eye here. I'm cool with it. I love it.
What do you think
Done.
of the level of torture that she's setting up here?
So I've always been slightly afraid, Cersei, if she came, like, really unhinged. I think Cersei is unhinged, like, at this point compared to what we've seen before, because she has made some huge, big strides, and this is, like, Cersei's endgame. She has nothing else to live for. This is sink or swim here for Cersei, I think, in her own opinion. So if this is the level of torture that she's going to, I'm not as concerned as I was before. I mean, she did blow up a whole bunch of people. That's a little bit cry, but you know,
Maybe excessive.
excessive, sure. We can call it that. But this here, I mean, all's fair in love and war, Like, they are at war, openly at war. I guess I should never condone violence, but for what this is in this realm, I stamp of approval for Cersei on this one.
Okay.
It really does. Like, that was pretty interesting. What's his name? Euron brings the gifts,
Mhm.
which we talked about the gifts, I guess. But we have the conversation between Euron and Jamie. And it just again, like, Euron is Euron and he's fun to hate. I'm not like oh, he's so great. I love bad guys. He's fun to hate. Like, he does a good job
Mhm.
without being, I don't know, the worst of the worst. Without being
He's not really,
Umbridge.
like, disgusting. You know,
No.
like, the things he's saying are gross. Yeah, like, whatever, but, like,
But, like,
it's
the stuff
almost
that
like it's in good taste. Like, it's not
it's
really,
like
but you know what I mean? Like,
he's doing it, not even to
it's hard to pinpoint. I think
like
it's
like salt in the wounds a little bit, and
right.
he knows it. Like, he's like, "Ooh, here's Jamie. Let me go over there and just really fuck with him, cause that's fun," you
Right, and
know?
no one's really ever been able to.
Right.
and he has literally put himself in a position to do that. And yeah, I mean, he is that kind of douchey jerk
Yep.
ass older brother, and he's kind of playing that
Yeah.
card right now.
Yep. That's um oh, so sorry. I just have a note written down here that I thought was funny, so I'm going to read it now. It is pertaining to when I said the anxiety now is like filled watching this. I said that before I was watching it like a puzzle or, just not just a show. I enjoyed it, but now I am watching it through the eyes of a parent who had to send their child in as tribute in Pam. I think that's the right one. Like what's her name? Katniss Everdeen.
Yeah.
And they're watching it like, that's how I'm watching it. I'm like, "Oh my god, don't kill him. Okay. Alright. Send in the little beep, beep, beep medicine." Anyways, I'm not gonna go through a whole bunch of people tonight, so I have another note on Cersei that I'd like to find really quick here.
While you're looking
Alright.
for that, just a reminder: if you are in the chat, we are live right now. Hi, that's that's us. This portion of this is live. We're chatting about Abby's first time watcher viewpoints before we do our broadcast of what we recorded. I think it was August 31st of 2017. So that'll be up here in, I don't know, 10 minutes or so.
So, last thing kind of on, the Cersei, and it's really Jamie too, I'm gonna credit both of them, the battle here, and it's
Mm-hmm.
got a little Tyrion in it. This is brilliant.
The
Like,
whole end 20 minutes or whatever of this episode, basically. You are totally frozen, and
no.
no, it's good now. It was like the most shocked face ever, so it was really impressive. So yeah, go for it. So like the last 20 minutes of the whole episode are like two different battles,
Yes.
basically.
Yes, so we start in and we get the like voiceover from Tyrion explaining their tactics. And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, like this Tyrion, you are so brilliant. Like you use what you have, you use your knowledge and obviously not surprised by this, but I have found, the Achilles heel. It's still going to be a hard battle and we're still going to they're going to have to fight. But, they're backing you and then slowly have all these reasons why and we go into this attack and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, this is crazy." Number 1. Number 2, we get that first shot of Castle Rock and it's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Like it is absolute perfection and all the castles we've seen so far, obviously they're perfect for their families, um, and their location and what. Because then we see, I have we seen High Garden
Nope.
before?
We
Okay,
we
so
never seen either of these
either of the
castles.
right. So and then I go see High Garden, like the lush, fertile lands, and I'm like, "Well, that's like, they're both these castles are perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And, I think the Lannister castle struck me so much because of my, kind of love of Tywin.
Affinity.
I mean, yes, I mean, love was a not yes, I like Tywin a whole lot, was very interested with his character, and it is every single thing that Tywin does power by, like, the most direct power way. Like, there he's not sly about it necessarily, he's smart, but he's not undercutting, I am powerful, and if to, relate him to, like, a sports team, they're not going out, like, necessarily trash talking everybody, but you're not gonna trash talk us. We're also not gonna lose. We're also gonna wear red and gold and black because those are power colors. And, like, the psyche, every single thing that that house is picks that type of power, and that
Mm-hmm.
castle just like, the strength. So I thought it was really awesome. Getting back to the tactics, I was like, "Wow, this is really great, Tyrion." And then we start seeing what's really going on, and Jamie is he explaining it to Olenna? Basically, like, "We pulled our guys, we burned their ships, and we brought the battle here." So,
Yes.
yeah, we're giving up the castle.
Yep.
And my note right there was, I think I have seriously underestimated Jamie and Cersei.
Yeah. I mean, think back
But
to the beginning, like the very end of season 6, right? Where we
mhm,
have Dany taking off in the ships. She's on
yes.
her way to Westeros.
Mhm.
episode 1, she lands in Westeros. We know she's got the Dornish, the Reach, the Unsullied, the Dothraki, the
Yeah,
Iron, the Iron Islands, at least half of them. And it's just like, what is Cersei like? What do they
yeah.
have? They have
They
nothing. And then they get
not
Euron. Okay, like you get Euron, fine. But then like this move, it completely evens the tables back like
yes.
pretty hard, I think.
It's so calculated and so intelligent, which I feel like calculated and intelligent is very Tyrion, and we've always said they are a trifecta. That we have the strength and leadership from Jamie, we have the politicking from Cersei, and we have the intelligence, or I don't really know what word you guys use, but whatever. They're a trifecta.
Mhm.
Right here, it did not matter that Tyrion wasn't in this battle plan. It was genius. Like,
Well, this is again, and this was even mentioned in episode 2, that's a very clever plan by a clever man.
yes,
And his plan, Tyrion's plan, was very clever.
and they
Jamie's was
know him.
ruthless, and
Yes,
Jamie's was effective. His
they
was the military move
yes,
that's where it's kind of like, yeah, Tyrion's brilliant, but almost maybe too smart for his own good at times. Or he's going up against Jamie, who knows him better than anybody else. Like,
yes.
that's
Like, okay, well, he's gonna do this, so I'm gonna do this, but he's no, I'm gonna do this, so I'm gonna
right.
do that. So you're trying to
And we're in
be un
Jamie's strength.
his wheelhouse. This is
Yeah.
Jame like, it I just was
Jamie.
Jamie! I was very, very impressed, and then because up until this point, I have definitely felt like, well, there's gonna be, the Danny and John will get together, and it'll basically be everybody against Cersei, and somehow or another, maybe she lives, maybe she doesn't, but she does not end up on the throne. I'm not necessarily saying I'm stepping away from that thought because I haven't had much time to mull it over, but at least at this point, I'm like, this is a game. This is not the underdogs here clinging on to, like, holding their little lead. Like, they have their threat.
So
So,
let's quickly roll into
yep.
the first interaction of ice and fire. What'd you think of? And we're not gonna
So,
spend too long on it because I know
yep,
we'll have a lot of time Saturday to
yep.
talk about it. But
Lastly,
Daenerys
on
and John,
I might
or
I
would you
have a
rather talk
big
about something else? It's
no, that's perfect. We can go right there. Um, I really I feel like Ice and Fire, I know I don't know the stories like you guys do in the books, but I still just think it's just John.
okay.
Like, that's because he is ice and fire. Together, I guess they are ice and fire, but they're ice and fire. So it just doesn't make any sense in my mind. Fire,
Or
fire.
or one fire and one half and half.
Right. Right, and half and half. I
One
just
sweet and low.
with Danny here, they are from the same family. But you see the stark, the ice in John, the cold, not necessarily as not malleable, but you see Danny's fire. Like, she comes in hot, like, and it's hilarious. The Missandei with "This is Daenerys Targaryen, first of her name, queen of everything, and the unicorns, and the dragons,
And
and
the
the mother of
unicorns.
pearls, and everything." Like, and you get Davos with "This is Jon Snow. Maybe I should add something. Mm-mm-mm. He's king in the north." Like, just like, "Eh."
uh, he's he's a bastard.
Yeah, and, so you definitely see the differences there, and, I like that their personalities reflect this because fire is consuming, and that's what she's, like, going in hot. That's like she's trying to come in, get what she wants, take, 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 whereas the
Ice
ice, he's
is
just
preserving.
exactly, like, he doesn't bend, he doesn't I was very impressed with John here, and not angry with Danny because I love Danny, but I wish she would have approached it a different way. But again, I know that I know John, and she
Right.
does not. Like,
Right.
so I'm trying to keep that separate, but it's hard because, and actually Tyrion's the one who, like, walks me off the edge of being like, "Danny, that was fucking stupid."
What the
When
hell?
yeah, my biggest point out of all of this was as she's talking about, my your ancestor swore field or loyalty, whatever, to my
Mhm.
ancestor, uphold this, blah, blah, blah.
And then she
And
follows it up with, "You can't."
You
judge
can't
me
judge
for
me by my dad."
right.
Like,
I like
and I'm
that
like,
he does go through it and throw that right back at her. He's like, "You know, I
"Uh,
won't, and you can't hold me to the vows of my ancestors."
yes." Like, that was, and even before he says that, I'm like, "Hold on, wait, we already know Jon Snow, this ain't gonna fly, yo." Like, he doesn't give castles to new people, he keeps them, gives them to the family to let them rule because their father are not them, like, it I knew it wasn't gonna fly, but I love Jon Snow, like, being very respectful and, but still hard, like,
Yeah,
not bending,
yeah.
not that's yeah, he didn't bend. And then we have Tyrion come up and say, "You came here, you asked for help, she doesn't know you. You want her to, like, go fight over the space of a conversation. That's a ridiculous request."
Mhm.
And I'm like, "Ah, shoot. Yeah, like, maybe, okay, I see that." Like, so, I don't know, all in all, she then says he can get the dragon glass, which that's a win for every everyone, mankind,
Right.
and,
Give him something without losing
any
anything.
like, you don't care, like, what's the difference? Like,
Right. And y
that is
it's
prideful there.
yeah, no, it's very tactful. It's very, you didn't even know I was here.
Yeah,
It's only gonna make him happy and potentially a better chance at forming some kind of ally, some kind of
ally that we have
relationship out of this, so
no, right,
might
so
as well.
that was, she not even swallows her pride because I don't think she was like, "No, you absolutely cannot," and then was like, "Alright, I've thought about it, fine." But she's like, "Okay, I won't just hang on to it because I can, or
Mhm.
because it's mine." I love that about Dany. Um, Tyrion with, the reasoning for everybody, and that's about it on them. It was good, like, it was definitely exciting. My last thing I'd like to talk about is Olenna.
Okay.
Her death, and she still wins. Like,
Mhm.
she dies at this, and she still wins. She is, like, savagely beast. She's just a savage beast. I love her. She might have one of the coolest deaths. Like, you had to go out anyways. Might as well go out on top. Olenna did it. She's
Mhm.
amazing. And Jamie, he's just so decent. Like, right here, he's decent. And yes, he has to kill her, but I don't know, kid gloves with it or whatever, some respect to her. And she just turns it on. She's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna die, but fuck you, Cersei."
And then
Like,
she just slams the whole thing too.
no, like, she's so boss. I love her.
Alright, you ready to do some speculations?
Yeah,
Alright, let's
okay,
play the original speculations and spoilers, music.
perfect.
Alright, 3 speculations for this episode. Take it away.
Okay, sure. I didn't they're like hieroglyphics over here, what I wrote. I figured I would remember what I was speaking about. It looks something about Sam and Jorah. Oh, okay, I do remember. So, Sam saves Jorah. Good job, Sam. That's exciting. And he has to go kind of answer for what he did. And instead of a reward, he gets more work by copying these books. I believe that these books really are a reward, and he will be new copying down or preserving these books that have all the information from, like, the sections or whatever he can't get into. So inadvertently,
You're
this
getting
guy,
to read the things that you want to.
yes,
Okay.
without, like, messing up any rules. I don't even know if there's rules about him. Like, if he can't read certain stuff or what is there? Is
Uh,
that why he can't
well,
get?
I know in the first episode of this season, he basically was asking, if I'd like to go read those books, and
They said
Ebros was like, "Are you a maester? Those are for maesters only."
right.
And he's like, "I'm not." So it's not a very good proposition, is it?
Right. So, yeah, I think that, that's pretty great. I think it is a reward in disguise,
Okay.
which is pretty funny in my opinion. We have Bran home. I think, Bran I don't think it's gonna be the homecoming, obviously, between Sansa and Bran. It's already been there, and she's really excited, and I think he is excited to, be back, but it's not gonna be like John, where things are back intact. I think Bran or that unit of like, "Oh, that piece is missing," I think that family he's gone, like, he's just not who he was.
Mhm.
So, that's not really much of a prediction, I guess, and, I also think it's good that he does know, like, he saw what Sansa had to go through. Maybe not right off the bat,
Maybe don't
but
lead with that.
yeah, well, yeah, or even, like, the initial realization, like, he knows more than just, like, "Oh, somebody told him." Like, he saw it. That is hard for a survivor or somebody, I
Mhm.
guess,
Like,
to
"Hey,
wrestle with.
it wasn't just
But
me that lived through it, it was somebody else." I mean, I
right, but
yeah.
over time, I think that there will be some good,
Okay.
strength through it. And, lastly, we'll go with Microfinger. I don't understand why he is still there, I guess. He talks to Sansa like, "Remember here, you're fighting every battle everywhere." Does he not see that he is fighting a battle against Sansa and he's about to lose? I think that Microfinger needs to go to the eye doctor because he can't see shit.
Okay.
That's
Alright.
it.
Final thoughts?
It I said this might be a spoiler, but this might be my favorite episode.
Like, of all of them that we've had, or just this
Mhm.
season, or just
Of all of them.
okay.
And I
Well,
don't know if it's the episode so good or me being so vested and impressed with characters I wasn't expecting necessarily to be so like, "Holy oh, good job." So, I really like this one.
okay, good stuff, good stuff. So that's pretty much gonna wrap it up for this portion of our episode. Follow us on Twitter at No and Drink. Send us a digital raven at noandrink@gmail.com. Like, subscribe, leave comments, and all of that fun stuff on iTunes and on YouTube. We do hope you stay with us and hang out in the live chat. I know I'll be there. I think I saw Glendog is already in there a little bit. He at least said howdy. But join us for the next couple hours while the original airing of the podcast that drinks and knows things, season 7, episode 3, recorded August 31st, 2017, is going to be rebroadcast. So until next time,
As always, I still don't know, so I'll just drink.
and as always, stay imaginary.
How do you know this?
That's what I do. I drink and I know things.
Okay, bye, Abby.
Bye.
All right, now I gotta click a button. We gotta do this thing. We gotta click this button. Wrong button. All right, well, let's get started. And we're going to roll that beautiful bean footage.
Okay, I can hear music.
Hello, welcome back to the podcast that drinks and knows things. We are here doing episode 3 of season 7, The Queen's Justice. This aired on July 30th of 2017, and we are recording this on August 1st of 2017. I'm your host, Luke, and I am joined by co-hosts Glenn and Ben. What's up, guys? What are you guys drinking?
What's up? We have a glass of wine, Cabernet Sauvignon, or however you say it,
Sauvignon.
Sauvignon
and a Blue Moon.
and Blue Moon, and I believe Luke there is drinking a Merlot or possibly a Merlot,
Merlot.
along with our guest Riley, and
There's orange peels or orange slices in the Blue Moons.
in the Blue
It's
Moons,
just
yes.
fancy enough.
Yes.
And like Ben just said, we are also joined in studio with guest Riley. Welcome back. And also online again, our buddy Brian.
Hey, what's up, guys?
All right. Well, let's go ahead and recap what happened last episode, which I did not prepare. So, if anyone else remembers what happened last episode, let's go through that real quick.
Well, last episode we had John getting letters from Sam and Tyrion, basically telling him to go to Dragonstone. Sam saying because there's dragon glass underneath, and Tyrion saying you need to come bend the knee. Then we also had Dany sent up her war council to figure out figure out where or what the war plan is, sending the Unsullied over to Casterly Rock and the
Dorn and Highgarden to King's Landing.
Yep.
And then at the end of the episode, we find out that the Iron Fleet has been taken out by the other Iron Fleet.
Yes.
And several main characters were captured, and
A couple secondary were killed.
Also,
Arya met up with Nymeria and the Wolfpack.
And the Hot Pie.
And Hot Pie.
And the hottest of pies.
Don't forget.
Yeah, yep.
And then Cersei, what was she up to? Basically trying to get the Tyrells or the
The Tarleys. The Tarleys.
The Tarleys, thank you. They're trying to get the Tarleys.
Trying to get more allies.
Exactly.
More friends.
And we lost Decker, but he will hopefully come back. So yeah, that's kind of what happened last episode. So let's get prepared for this episode and let's start drinking and knowing things. Cheers, boys. All right. So the episode description for this chapter, Glenn, why don't you read off what HBO provided for us?
Sure. Daenerys and Jon meet. Cersei gains a new ally. Sansa receives an unexpected visitor. Sam is confronted for his actions.
Okay.
That was it.
That's about it.
That's it.
All right. Anything else before we get started, guys?
HBO don't give you much.
They don't give you
They
much.
don't give you much. Just enough. The Queen's Justice.
Yep. Episode title: The Queen's Justice.
Yes.
All right, so let's get kicked off with our first area and the first group. The first area is Dragonstone, and the first group that we see is Tyrion, Missandei, Jon Snow, and Davos. This scene leads off with Tyrion and Missandei greeting Jon Snow and Davos on the shores of Dragonstone. So I thought this was pretty cool, like walking all the way up to the castle is pretty sweet, and then like, hello, dragons.
Right. Yeah. My favorite part of that one was basically said, "Yeah, Missandei's like, you need to pass over your weapons." They're like, okay, and Jon just gives the Dothraki this look like, "Bitch, I better get that back." Kind of special, you know.
Yeah, I thought when we first saw the exterior of Dragonstone, I really liked the look of that long walkway. And I'm glad we actually got kind of more of a scene from it. It wasn't really much, but it was Jon's first seeing of dragons, which was kind of a cool way to do it. It was also Jon's first time of doing that, and a few other things that he did for the first time. Good call, Glenn. What else do you have about this?
The thing I was looking most forward to from this episode was just kind of the dialogue between Tyrion and Jon. Not having seen each other in such a long time, kind of the first thing they say to each other is, the last time I saw you was at the wall, and like, oh, I remember you pissed off the edge. And just kind of the back and forth they had.
Mine was Tyrion making sure he knew I didn't sleep with your sister, dude. Just let you know. We didn't consummate. And Jon's like, "Oh, I know. You're good."
Jon seeing the dragons. Kind of look at his face when he's down on the ground after he drops down. It's kind of got a little bit, like a little reminiscent of the face that he had when he was looking at Night's King. Up north, and he's actually just looking at him like
at the dragons.
Yeah, but like at the dragons and at the night, same
like,
face.
Are you shitting me?
Yeah, like it's the only two things in the whole. So it's kind of a comparison between fire and ice.
You'd be surprised.
Well, that and he great in the cave.
Anyone would make that face. Hey, Decker, what'd you think of that first scene?
I like the line of Jon saying, "I'm not a Stark," and then at that moment, the dragon flying overhead. Good timing. Correlation between him being Targaryen.
Jon hits the deck. I should say Jon and Davos. Whoa. Jon and Davos hit the deck. Yeah. And everyone's kind of like, oh, well, that's...
Yeah, Tyrion's
we're used to it now.
Yeah, Tyrion's like, I'd like to say we get used to it, but you don't.
Yeah.
I did like the other part with Davos and Missandei where he's like, "Oh, you're from the Isle of whatever, and I heard it's nice with palm trees and all this." And Missandei gives him to look like, "I got a boyfriend." Okay.
Yeah. I took it as like, oh, Davos is saying about this island, but she was a freaking slave there. Like,
yeah,
I kind of saw it
took
both
the same
ways.
way.
No, and you're absolutely right. It was just more of a joke that I'd seen. Like,
Well,
like,
it's
I just got laid. So.
the very first time I saw it, because I watched it twice, I thought the same thing that Riley said. I was like, yeah, I mean, clearly she's like, well, kind of blue for me because I was taken as a slave. And then the second time I watched it, I noticed more the line that Davos had right after, and to John, he goes, it's a lot different here now.
Yeah,
this
place has
time,
changed.
this place has changed, almost like she's a fox.
There's some ladies.
And because the only other attractive girl he's ever seen there was the woman he wanted to take her head off of.
Yeah, exactly.
Melisandre.
Sure.
So,
and speaking of Mel,
Melisandre, our next scene is Melisandre and Varys.
Yep, Mel and Varys are conversing up on the cliff side. Mel explains what she's up to next, saying she needs to go back to what's it, Volantis?
Yep.
Where she's into, and Varys seemed puzzled. That was until, well, especially after Mel said, "Well, I'll be back," because like you, I have to die here. Thoughts?
Right. My thought about the whole thing is like, it seems like this season Varys is really trying to, play his, kind of games or kind of almost arrogant to where, I'm gonna have the upper hand, and then Melisandre just says something that is just kind of, he's not ready for, just doesn't even like really know, like just confused about the whole thing.
Well, the end of part of Varys's history is dealing with like fire, right?
It's dealing with the priests.
Right. We're led to believe that he was cut by a red priest,
Right.
who then burned his stuff in a sacrifice.
I think that's interesting.
Yeah, I did kind of
this line.
Yeah, they kind of like the fan service, and just to my point, because I've been saying it, but Mel being like, I brought fire and ice together. It's like, just to remind you, yes, this is what the actual series is called. It's called The Song of Ice and Fire. Don't forget that. It's the second reference to the book series that we've had in so many episodes. So it's kind of like, okay, I think this season, like I said last week, they're trying pretty decently to pay homage to the book readers who, originally were like, well, this didn't happen in the book, this didn't happen in the book. Well, now we're trying to give you a little bit of, here you go.
Yeah, what do you think about all that, Decker? That scene and also
I
translating
thought
to
that
the
scene
books?
was cool because I think it's opening up another story arc when she mentioned, I have to come back here once, I have to die in this land just like you. I think a lot of the storylines so far have been like trying to wrap it up or start the end of the story, and that one kind of, raised
Kinda
more
leaves it a
questions
little
than it answered.
open-ended.
Right. Leaves you hanging,
Yeah,
and
so I really enjoyed that.
something to
scene.
think about.
Yeah, and there's
for
also
later.
we know from way back when they're on the King's Road, Arya and Gendry, and
Yeah.
Arya basically gets told by Mel, I'll see you again. Either that happens while she's on her way heading out from Dragonstone, which is possible, or it's whenever Mel comes back. Should be pretty interesting, I guess.
Mhm.
I liked seeing Melisandre's kind of regret for the terrible things that she's, the terrible mistakes. Like, she legitimately seemed like it troubled her more than like she felt like it was a failure. More like she kind of thought, yeah, maybe the ends aren't quite justifying the means like I thought they should.
I think Varys says something to along the lines of, like, Jon Snow's here. Why aren't you here to? You told us to bring him here. Why aren't you there to meet him? And she just kind of explains like, well, I'm on bad terms with those people.
Yeah, things aren't great with us. Any final thoughts on Mel and Varys? All right. Next scene is Dany, Tyrion, Missandei, Jon Snow, and Davos. Glendog.
Yes. So Dany and Jon meet for the first time. Both sides are playing hardball, and the meeting does not go as planned. Thoughts on this one?
Riley, lead us off.
Oh, I mean, this is what the last 6 building up. Right, this is the scene for the series so far. I mean, it's not a big
I agree.
battle, it's not, but it's these two characters. All that's happened has built them up and put them in the position that they're at now, and it's just, I think, partly fan service and how the scene kind of went and how it's filmed, because you can see them gradually like getting closer together. Like, she walks up to him, the framing gets a little bit in on them, so it's like playing up that these two people finally met, like, after this long. So I think it was a big fan service scene, but I'm glad that it happened. Obviously, I've been waiting for it. So
I think Davos
Man.
still the scene.
Yes.
Mhm.
No, absolutely. Between him and Tyrion, I think both of them. The Tyrion had some great little quips in there where, like, well, we almost took King's Landing. Yeah, almost. You know, it's kinda like,
Yeah, when Davos was like,
Yeah, when-
I was fighting on the Blackwater, or he was like, we met at the
Yeah.
Blackwater. He's like, yeah, fortunately, I was on the other side.
exactly.
That blew, literally.
Yes, my notes with it is it's goes back to what I was saying last week of I'm not a big Dany fan. But she was just being kind of an uber bitch. And I get it, she's conquering, and she is a foreign invader. She's trying to conquer and everything. But it's kind of one of those of I don't know, but again, I guess we see it from both sides. If I was just seeing it from her point of view, you see this guy coming king in the north, and you're told this whole thing of because of who your family is, this is what you're owed. And John has the exact opposite thing. He's owed nothing, like Davos says, but he's had this thrust upon him. So it's kind of one of those. It pulls back to who's the true leader, who's the, and
Yeah, my thoughts. You saw both sides just being stubborn and just not being easy. I think a lot of people thought that once Jon Snow gets down there, they're going to be in agreement of, oh well, you need to help us here, we'll help you. We need dragon glass. Okay, cool, yeah, cool. But it just didn't go as everyone probably thought. And then another point about the scene is when Dany kind of tells her life story, and kind of trying to intimidate John a bit, and then Davos kind of tries to tell John's story, but John, you could see him just kind of telling Davos to back off a bit. Yeah,
really
let's not play all our cards.
X-nay on the knife in the heart A.
So I think my favorite line of this part was a Davos line. He goes, he has no birthright. He's a damn bastard. Like, they really do come from as opposite. I mean, there's the fire and ice thing, clearly.
Yeah.
But, like, and John calls her out on this, and she calls him out on this exact same thing. And in reverse of, she's banking on her name. Like, she's only grown up knowing that the name Targaryen has power to it alone. Like, people will follow you just because you're a Targaryen. She's also done a lot to earn people's respect and followings that she's done, but she knows that birthright means something in Westeros, where Jon Snow has done only merit-based things and built up. Yeah, he had maybe a leg up being Ned Stark's bastard as well, but it's just funny seeing them come together where he only cares about the actual things that have been done, and he sees her only using the name card.
Yeah.
And she sees the exact reverse, where she only sees his no name and is kind of glossing past the things that he's done. They're both making the same mistake about each other.
Yeah.
And I thought it was a really, really good scene kind of because of that.
No, very
It
much
felt
so.
very real, and like both sides were being incredibly stubborn. Neither side would give in because they can't. And it's good for the fans too, because no side won. There was no winner outside of maybe Davos, just because he was funnier, I think.
Exactly. Now, one note I did have about that scene really quick was when she said, you're breaking your faith with the promise your family made to mine. And honestly, it's like, okay, fine. Yeah, John made a great point of, well, you know what? Your family lost the war, this and that. Your dad
roasted mine.
roasted my grandfather and uncle. And here's the thing. What you don't know is, and he doesn't know this either, his dad's the reason why the assassins were called off from Robert Baratheon and Varys.
His adopted father.
Well, yeah.
His
speculation.
Yeah.
Well, actually,
I think that was
at this
fairly
point,
proven.
Yeah, at this point now.
But
yeah, so it's like that's one thing I wish Varys would have kind of brought up. Was like, yeah, the assassins were called off because of Ned Stark.
Yeah, that would have been a good Varys point.
Yeah,
too.
like jump in, like,
hey, because he'd be the only one that would know it.
But he can't second guess his queen in a very formal thing, kind of like we saw Sansa do. Like, I think Varys
he also wasn't there.
Yeah, he wasn't in the room at the time during that discussion.
He ran in later.
He came squirtling in. Just,
right. Yeah, that's right. I got you.
So, I also think like Melisandre could have like taken her necklace off and explained the fact that she resurrected Jon Snow to Dany to give him more credibility.
Yeah.
I thought she could have helped out a little bit.
But at the same time, then basically you're just telling me, yeah, the zombies coming to come to court. Are you okay with that? Yeah, and so I can understand why John was like telling Davos, "Hey, shut the hell up," because I don't want them thinking I'm weird being a already dead person.
It is kind of funny that Melisandre didn't do like anything else. Like she knows that the White Walkers are
Yeah.
She hasn't seen them, but I mean, I think she in her fires or whatever,
Yeah.
she has a pretty darn good idea, and she trusts Jon Snow. I mean, clearly she doesn't come back in, during this scene, but like some kind of heads up, be like, all right, he's gonna be talking about Snarks and Grumpkins,
Grumpkins.
but you might want to actually believe him because, and as Tyrion will back me up on this, he's not full of shit. Like
No.
Jon Snow, he's seen some shit, and he's a good guy. So
Yeah. You trust Jorah, or you trust?
she could have given
Shior?
John at least a little bit of like a head start on the trust
Yeah.
department for Dany.
My point about that whole thing, like the trust, is just it seemed like Dany probably thought that like the people that try to look for Sasquatch,
Yeah.
and then like they just try to Sasquatch is real. Then you have all these people like this guy is a fucking loony.
This guy is your mayor.
Goddamn Sam Squatches.
It just seemed like that's what she kind of thought John was like kind of saying, like, like the Night King is kind of like Sasquatch or like the Loch Ness monster or something like that.
Yeah.
Right, well,
Or it's a big myth.
She has real problems.
We got real problems here.
She's been dealing
With
back to the throne.
with invading other people's shit. And
Well, I mean, she,
yeah,
in
real
terms
problems.
of an immediate thing to deal with, like
I know.
controlling Essos, and then coming here and already losing. Well, I guess she didn't know about.
Yeah, not at that point.
But she's still like running a war. I don't know.
True.
I really liked another part of John's was he really stuck up for his position. Because the Northerners did put their trust in. It was like, you know what? Because it looked like he was on the verge of like they were pretty compelling. Tyrion was like, then what? Why not just bend the knee? Like, what's the difference? Like, let's win this fight. Let's win that fight. Like, that's easy. Let's do that. That's that's the easy way out. John doesn't do the easy way, but I liked that he didn't forget about his people in that moment and really just straight up said that. It was like, you know what? They picked me. Their trust is with me.
Yeah.
I have to stand up for them because I'm their guy.
Yeah.
And that's got to go both ways. Any other final thoughts on Riley? Got something? Hey, how about Brian? You got any final thoughts?
I think next episode is going to be a lot different conversation now that the battlefield's looking a lot different after the end of this episode.
Yeah, I completely agree, and I think we'll have more time with these two coming up here shortly.
Yep.
So our next area, we move to at sea / maybe King's Landing. Well, this does go to King's Landing, and we're led off by Theon / Reek. So Reek is picked up by a Greyjoy ship that survived. The sailors call him out for basically being a coward. Decker, what'd you think of this? Or Brian?
It was a pretty quick scene. Not really too much to it besides Theon just looking more like Reek. Necessary scene, but just kind of filler, honestly.
Mine was my thought on it.
Show that Theon didn't die.
Yeah, they know your name. They know your name. You must remember your name. I just got that feel from it. So
yeah, the line that clearly it's the piss on him line is the "you wouldn't be here if you tried."
Yeah,
I tried to say you wouldn't be here if you tried. Like that was a pretty badass line. Like it sucks. I like Theon. It's tough that he's back in this position. It's interesting, but he really cut to the core with that one.
Yeah, and now those were his sister's people that grabbed him, right?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Well, yeah. She was their queen technically. So.
But it wasn't the other Greyjoys. That's what I mean. Yeah.
No.
I think that either Theon come back as himself or Reek come back. Like previously, Reek he's been pulled back by somebody, whether it was Sansa or Yara has been kind of pulling him back. But we see him on the ship, on the ground, like in a pivotal position. They're like, "We're not here to help you, man. Like, get it. But if you're gonna be here, it's gonna be on you." So I feel like if it really is Theon coming back, it'll be him pulling himself back up and really developing the first meeting.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, my thoughts of this one is like it was a very short-lived scene, but the last episode, if you remember, Theon jumped off the ship, and the last thing you see is him just kind of waiting in the water.
On like a door or something.
And this, might be like the fanfare of what happened. Just not put it off to another episode, and then as well as to tee up the next episode with his storyline.
Yeah, very quick transition. Just here's what's going on. All right, we're moving on.
So then we moved. Do you have any final thoughts?
Riley, do you want to ask Luke if Brian has any other final thoughts?
All right, Glenn, you ask Riley again for me. All right, so then we see Euron with the prisoners. Benji. Benji, go for it.
Yeah, Euron riding through King's Land like a motherfucking pimp. He's got his girls in tow, getting cheers and everything. Got Yara on a leash, being drugged behind him, and has some pretty good quips and everything. But that shit-eating grin, I love it. He's now becoming my new favorite. After I lost my pure Lord and Savior Ramsay last year, I now have Euron to hold on to, and it's like
hold a candle for.
To hold a candle for. It's like, oh, Euron, thank you. I love the crazies, by the way. So that's fitting. Yeah, it is. So anyway,
Brian, you got any thoughts on that fanfare?
No, it was a really great scene. I mean, but not too much to it except just enjoying Euron being Euron.
The Euron charisma.
Yeah.
He's a man of the people.
I just got a question along with that. Do you think the people are cheering more for Euron, that they think he's a god or anything like that, or do you think it's more of the prisoners that they got the queen's the justice for?
I feel like it's more for Euron because he very, very publicly said, "I'm going to get you a gift," and then he got something that clearly everyone knew that Cersei wanted very bad. And I mean, it's good for King's Landing.
This guy gets things
done.
The
naval battle that could have happened on their shores happened somewhere else. So that's pretty cool for them.
Yeah, and King's Landingers not the brightest, especially flea bottoms. So they see, oh, hey, there's a cool ass dude. And he's got, oh shit, he came back with him. All right then.
Yeah, they prefer to be called flea botmans.
Flea botmans.
So,
The scene is that the King's Landing residents are like, so they're the most stereotypical townspeople in the whole series.
Once there's one person to cheer for, everyone's cheering.
It's so
Bandwagon jumpers.
2 weeks ago,
like Cubs fans.
My favorite teams are the Cubs, the Patriots, the Penguins, and the Warriors.
Ben's have been good for a while.
Like a couple weeks ago, a month ago, or whatever, they were just cheering for Cersei being naked, walking in the streets, throwing stuff at her. Like, whose side are you on? Like, I don't know. It's just, oh, we're here, we're gonna cheer.
And I think, as Luke said, they're on the side of who's going to protect us, and Euron stepped up and did something that to them was a protection.
And I'm gonna redact the Cubs statement. They're quality fans that have cheered for a losing team for hundreds of years. I'm gonna throw the Royals fans under the bus.
Yes.
Anyway, moving on. So we go in and we see Cersei and Jaime. Brian, you wanna tell us what happened in that scene?
Yeah. Euron goes to the throne room and hands over Ilaria and her youngest daughter, I believe Tyann, to Cersei while keeping Asha/Yara, depending on if you're a book fan or a show fan. And then the more noble crowd starts to cheer for Euron while Cersei declares him captain of the fleet and declares Jaime captain of the army. Then Euron and Jaime get a little bit into it while everybody else is cheering on it. There's a real fine dialogue exchange between, well, really just Euron, while Jaime just listening to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked the Cersei's clearly going to reward Euron when the war is won, which is a good way for him to be excited and also her to kind of keep the reins on him a little bit, because it's not like, oh, and which also keeps Jaime kind of in tow for a while, at least while the war's going on. It seems like. I thought that was a pretty smart move of her. Euron gets what he wants on paper, but not quite yet.
Exactly, and who's to say that Euron isn't going to perish sometime later on down the line during a battle, or
Right.
you know,
And the way Cersei works, she might be trying to work towards that, winning the battles and the wars, but maybe not keeping everyone there.
exactly.
Yeah, and you saw this one, whenever Loras Tyrell was set to marry Cersei, like you saw Jamie like confront him and be like, you know, you're not doing anything, you're not doing it, you're not doing this, and then you could tell like this one that Jamie wants to do something like that to Euron, but like he can't get it out.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Euron's so charismatic that he just takes all the power away from Jamie to even say anything. Like he just goes like so over the top that it blows Jamie away. It's like no one has ever talked to me like this.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how to handle this.
We'll talk.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
does she like it
easy.
gentle or rough?
Like
Maybe a finger in the bum?
Finger in the bum.
Dude, it's
such a Conor character about this. Like he's
A little
just
bit.
right in his face.
He's
I was thinking of Floyd Mayweather.
yeah, the Conor McGregor's more.
I think those two should fight. I'm just gonna call it. Those two should
Those
fight.
two should fight, and people would pay for
I
it.
wanna
Cheers to that fight should happen.
right.
Whoops.
I want to see him in a hockey fight. You know, even playing field. Fuck it.
Right, Ryan
That's-
Reeves
Right.
from the Penguins.
Yeah, true.
My favorite part of the scene in general is once Cersei sees who her presence is, you instantly see the gears start turning. Like you don't know. I was half expecting her to just kill her right there, and I was like, no. Like I saw it in her face. Like she is engineering the best way. To
Oh,
do
you
it.
don't say.
Yeah. And like the face that Cersei makes when Ilaria spits at her, she like half quick smiles. She's like, "Oh,
It was
thank
almost
you
a
for doing
It's
that
gonna be
because you
fun.
are gonna get fucked."
yeah. It was almost a sploosh like Jamie now. You know,
Right.
like kind of look.
When she held it for a couple scenes.
Look at what the cat dragged in.
All right, moving on.
All right,
Down
so
in the crypts.
All right, guys, I just gotta hop off.
you gonna hop off. All right,
All right, Brian,
Brian.
thank
What
you
was
for-
your
Yeah.
favorite thing this episode?
Uh,
Go ahead and
it's
say it
when the,
now.
last
We'll
scene.
skip ahead.
It's how they handle the battle at Castle Rock.
Nice.
That was
Okay.
a great way to cover a large battle with only having to devote about 5 minutes to it instead of 20 minutes like they do with the sea battle.
Yeah, yeah,
And then you
cool.
can see the way they handled it. You can see exactly where Tyrion's plan kind of fell through. Because as he was narrating the battle, everything was happening exactly how he thought it would happen. Till the end, when they realized that Nair
Critical
and
mistake.
Euron Greyjoy
Yeah.
was just in King's Landing, is apparently on the other side of the world now. Seems to be
Right.
everywhere at once.
They found that one river that goes through.
Cool. All right. Well, Brian, we will hopefully see you next time.
Yep. Take care, guys.
All right, Brian, take care.
See you, Bri.
All right.
Alright.
So this next scene is Cersei, Ilaria, Tyene, Mountain, and Kyber. So Riley, why don't you tell us what happened in this scene?
Yeah, so in this scene, notes.
And it's not like we're live or anything.
Yeah, take your time.
So Cersei's taking the prisoners down to their cell. Kyvern's there. The Mountain's there. You see the Mountain think, oh, he's gonna be the guy who does it. Kind of like how he was there for the priestess.
Oberon. No, Oberon. Oh, you're
No.
But you're talking. I know what you're talking about.
He's kind of big him.
Yeah. The last season, the one where Cersei's like, "I'm the
The
last person
shame-
you're
the
gonna
shame
see." Yeah,
girl.
the shame.
Oh
shame
yeah.
girl.
Septim.
Morella. Or Mordain.
Septon
Mordain.
Mordain.
Or that might be the one that's Winterfell. But anyway, moving on. That's Septon.
One of the
Yeah, so-
Septons.
Mountain's there. So all her little toys are there. So you think the whole time you're thinking, what is her thing gonna be? And then you realize you
Yep.
see the red lipstick. I kind of saw it a little earlier.
Yeah, same
but
here.
He kisses
Tyene.
Tyene, and you just know, like, you're gonna. She tells Ilaria that she's gonna have to watch her daughter die, and she's gonna keep her alive.
Yeah.
All the time.
Septa Unella.
Unella.
Oh. I
Sorry,
believe
had to know. I could.
no,
I was like,
I do believe Septa Mordain was the Winterfell.
yeah, she was the one. Do you want to see my hair?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
How about no?
Yeah. So,
But
yeah.
what were you just saying?
So
Sorry.
she pretty much
Your
tells
drinks already,
Arya
guys.
that you're gonna have to watch your daughter die, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep you alive no matter what you do.
Mhm.
And we get this weird like daughter, like Tyene and Ilaria at the end are just reaching out to each other.
Like,
because,
they can't.
Hey, you're
Oh.
in metal chain.
And not gonna lie, I do completely side with Cersei on this one. It's kind of one that, like we said last week, the show isn't about
What's right and wrong?
what's
It's
right
about
and wrong, what
who you
every
agree
action.
with at that point,
But you know
almost.
what? Because of what Cersei was put through last year, or I guess 2 years ago now.
Really, the last two seasons, two full seasons.
What she's been put
she's
through,
been the more sympathetic character.
except for her actions. But yes, for stuff that's happened to her, yeah, she's more sympathetic. But that kind of thing. But I thought it was beautiful. I'm like, oh, I absolutely agree with you. And that last scene of them was like, oh,
Yeah, it's
For the kids at home, she basically poisoned with the lipstick the same way that Ilaria poisoned Marcella that last season, or
yeah,
two seasons ago.
season finale.
So yeah, it was the same.
yes.
The same exact way. I think that was just clever by Cersei to just I researched with Kyburn of what poison was used to kill Marcella, and I'm doing the same thing to your girl.
Yeah, I definitely noticed the lipstick because I was like, oh, that's really bright lipstick, and Cersei
Yeah.
never does. But it wasn't until
She
she
dressed
actually
up
kissed
for
her
it.
that I was like, damn it, I should have called that. Like I
See-
should have, I noticed it,
Oh,
but I didn't
shucks.
realize what it was.
I didn't catch the lipstick, but as soon as she said your daughter's so pretty, and she went close, I'm like,
Yeah,
that's
and it was right when she was going, and I was like, oh, that's why she's wearing
Yeah.
the lipstick. Like that
Yeah,
makes
it
sense.
was like a minute before, but yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I like I said, I thought it was a beautifully done scene. It's very fitting. It will be interesting to see if we ever see Illyria again. I doubt it.
I think it's Bron's still hanging around. Well, I guess he's not really, but because he's at war with Jaime. But at that moment,
Oh, and he had the thing with
he had the thing
Tyene.
with Tyene. And,
Oh. Was that Tyene? I thought that was.
It was Tyene.
Yeah,
It was Obara and Nymeria hanging out in the background saying, "You're such a slut."
Oh, okay. Oh,
So
damn. Okay.
probably
Tyene looked a bit different. Like, she looked a lot
a lot
different.
younger.
She's got really short hair,
Yes,
Yeah.
and this one,
which is why with the preview from episode 2 to 3, or from 1 to 2, we didn't realize who that was with the throwing dagger is because she had really long hair. We haven't seen her like that yet.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
Same
fair
girl.
enough.
That
Okay.
was-
She had-
Same girl.
She had her
different
boobs out.
hat.
Yeah,
one
usually has her
time.
boobs
Had the
out.
boobs out. Speaking of boobs, on to the next scene. If nobody else, has...
I have one more.
Okay. Go on. Sorry.
Note on that. I know Brian kind of mentioned this last episode.
Leave the boobs hanging.
I'm gonna leave the boobs hanging. Just get that picture in your mind. There you
Anyways, go for it.
I really noticed the Mountain's black armor.
Yes.
The black and silver. It looks pretty awesome.
Yeah,
Like,
I didn't
really.
notice. I honestly didn't notice it the first couple episodes until Brian mentioned it. and
Yeah.
Then I saw it. Yeah, this week.
Yeah, it really stood out this week, and I thought it was really, really bad. And yeah, I'll second that. It was a pretty solid torture death. Like,
Yeah.
all that's fun. So next scene, Cersei and Jaime.
So, pretty simple. They fuck. Cersei comes in and is like, "Hey, hun. Yeah, I'm getting down." And they go about it and wake up the next morning, and Cersei just don't give a shit. Basically answers the door to one of her handmaidens or servants, and basically lets her see Jameson in bed. Oh yeah, and we're gonna need new sheets. Kind of one of those. Jamie goes on to tell her, "Yeah, you can't really do that. People don't." And Cersei's like, "I don't give a fuck. I'm the queen." My only note to that is another scene for the body double that we saw from the Shame episode, and it was a very nice scene. So I give whoever that body double is full credit because I know Headley, Lena Headley has said
Headley.
Headley
Headley
Lamar.
Edie.
It's a classic Headley joke.
Yeah. But I know she has said that she wouldn't do any scenes or this and that. So
Is that for sure? Like, we know for sure.
It was a body double. I'm pretty.
I know on the previous one it was. I haven't been.
The
I haven't
Walk of Shame was
verified.
a,
I'm
was
gonna
a
say
body
because
double.
I could not
Right.
see the face because it was a perfect head turn while she got up and you saw
Sure.
everything. I'm gonna say body double, but if not, hey, power to
listeners call in and let us know.
To her, because fucking great scene. So
We're
anyway,
on the phones.
on the phones
for the 24/7.
message.
Long time caller, first time listener.
Twitch chat room is up and running. If anybody's interested, you're happy to come on. All right.
Yeah. Is anyone monitoring that? Nice.
keep them phones a ringing.
We have one viewer.
Heads across America. All right. So my only note here is kind of the give me that D, bro.
Give me that D, bro.
Yeah.
He says.
Yeah, and also like this is really like what Jamie's been looking for since he got back from getting his hand cut off. You know, he got back and he was like, and maybe again I'm getting more maybe into the books because you see more of what his thought process is, and he's very clear like, you know what, I don't give a fuck anymore. I'm tired of, you know, the Targaryen. He said this line a whole bunch. He's like, the Targaryens married each other for centuries, married brother and sister for centuries. Why not us? We're lions. We're pretty much running this bitch.
Yeah.
And that's like what he wants, but now he seems like he's second guessing it.
I don't know about this one. You know,
I don't know if it's he's second guessing the whole incest thing or if he's second guessing the. Hey, Cersei, you're kind of fucking nuts.
I don't think Cersei.
I missed what you guys. I missed the inside joke on this one. So
there was no inside joke.
Well, I missed the joke. So
anyway,
moving on.
That shouldn't be funny, but
all the delivery.
The kids at home are not laughing, but we're laughing.
That was not the short. That was delivery.
That was good.
But
all right.
Yeah, like I was gonna say something. I can't remember. So let's move on.
All right. Yep.
So the next scene we go to, or the next group that we see is Cersei and the Iron Bank rep. Riley, why don't you tell us what happened in this scene? Because you were about to take a drink, so you're up.
Cersei wants the Iron Bank to fund her war efforts, which is pretty surprising because obviously the Iron Throne owes the Iron Bank a lot of money. And, throughout the Iron Bank rep is kind of playing that up. Like, how are you asking for this money? You know, we know the Lannisters always pay their debts, but where's our money? Like, that's what we want.
Give me that money, bitch.
And she pretty much just says, give me weeks and you'll have it, which crazy. Like, no way it's going to happen. Yeah. So, Glenn, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things that the Lannisters can always think that they could just kind of rule the roost, and we need to fund our war. Like, we can just get it because we're a Lannister. Lannisters always pay their debts. I think. And I think the Iron Bank rep was just kind of like, look, maybe not. We might go in a different direction. Because it just seems like at that point the Lannisters, might have been long shots to win the war. So he's just kind of like, hey, I don't know about this.
Could you say they're hedging their bets?
You could say that,
but they wouldn't.
They would.
I like that idea that it pretty much was just betting on who's going to win. But,
yeah, or we'd like to invest in who would be the best outcome, or a fancy way of saying bet.
Yeah, right. And I really like that, Cersei probably is the most likely to repay. And I think they talk about this scene where Dany kind of fashions herself a revolutionary. Is that this scene that they talk about that?
Yeah.
And it's just like, yeah, I mean, she's looking to overthrow like everything.
Yeah.
Like
how many revolutionaries?
How many revolutionaries pay their debts?
Exactly.
Like we're ingrained in this system. We have made our name because of this system. Literally paying our debts. Like, I don't know. It seems like she's probably the solid choice for the bank to follow.
Oh yeah,
but 2 weeks, like, it's a pretty quick turnaround. Because technically a fortnight.
Yes, but also to something else that's in the works for later in the episode is in her mind.
Sure.
So
we'll revisit.
Exactly.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So
30
that sounded great.
All right.
All right. Is that all we have for there? We are then going to jump areas and go to Dragonstone, and we lead this off with Jon Snow and Tyrion. Tyrion meets with Jon on the cliffs of Dover. I mean Dragonstone. They hash some things out. They brood a little bit together, and Tyrion gives some advice to Jon. Benji kicks off.
Get here real quick. All right, so my favorite. You're making it difficult to brood. You do it so much better. It's like,
hey, let's have a brood off.
Let's have a brood off.
Brood off. Cheers to a brood off.
Cheers to brood off the red-nosed reindeer.
All right. Greatest line of the scene. How do I get people who don't know me to trust me? Good question. I know it's a good question. I need a goddamn answer.
You son of a bitch.
It's like, you're supposed to be the smart one here. You're the book it, read it, this. And I just love how Tyrion's like, well, some answers are bigger than someone, or some answers are bigger than anyone. You just gotta fucking do it, okay?
I like that they can straight up be honest with each other. Like they can actually talk where, they don't have to politic. They are actually just friends.
They're friends.
Like, they understand each other. They are cripples, bastards, and broken things. Like they just Tyrion understands Jon, which allows Jon to feel comfortable. Like just laying on, like technically, Tyrion's on the other side in whatever they're trying to figure out. But that's like his best ally, or it's like the best situation to have that best friend in when you're in a negotiation. It's like, hey, guess what? Your number one prospect. Yeah, we're good buddies. Like,
we pal around.
We pal around a bit
at times.
On Thanksgiving. But that was definitely really cool, and I liked Tyrion's line, I trust the eyes of an honest man over something everyone knows.
Yeah.
I thought that was really good to show Jon that it's like, you know what? My logic tells me that you're the guy to believe here. Like, it's not the easy thing to believe.
Actually, the exact opposite. My logic tells me you're nuts, but my gut and my feeling shows that I should trust you. Because his logic...
I think it's the exact opposite of that, because I think it's the gut and feeling that people follow. They don't actually put logic behind it. They just follow it because it feels right. It's easy to follow.
Okay.
It's not easy to logically think, this person has never lied to me before, and I actually do trust them, and he has superior logic in that.
Fair enough. I was thinking more of his self-logic of, logically, there's no snarks and grumpkins and this kind of thing.
Right, and I'm saying that's the problem. Is people think that's logical, but it's illogical because they don't know.
Fair
and
enough.
Don't follow it because you hear it.
So we're kind of saying the same thing in different ways.
It's like a three-part situation.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like a three-sided coin.
I really like that. You guys have had one scene, but like you.
They've had a couple. They had one at Winterfell. They had a couple at the Wall.
They had a little bit.
They spent 2 episodes together.
2 episodes.
They had their times.
Sure.
And they're already like years later. They can talk like this. I like that it kind of feels like a cousin vibe. You don't see him for a while, you can have that close conversation like cousins do.
Are you trying to allude to something there?
Or uncle, nephew?
Again, I know what you're alluding to, which is complete speculation and complete tinfoil. But
See,
I thought you're pulling personal stories
These kids
here. I
at
was like,
home
what
have
cousin,
no idea.
What cousin are we talking about?
No, the tinfoil.
Join us for speculations and spoilers, and we'll get deeper into that.
Yes. Make a note of that later
Put the
on. We'll
kids
get back
at
to
home
that.
to bed.
Smarmy hoes. When the kids are in bed, we'll talk about speculations and spoilers.
Not gonna lie, at least there was
Love
one.
that.
I will say one thing. Going back to the earlier scene and even the next scene, or 2 scenes forward, there hasn't been at least that immediate tension between Jon and Dany of will they, won't they, could they, won't they? There wasn't that look that, oh hey, we could bang, kind of look, kind of thing. I don't think
I'm on the questionable train.
Second scene, on the Dragonstone steps as he walked away.
All right. Anyway.
So that's moving. That's
moving forward.
Moving forward.
Let me segue that a bit.
I had,
if nobody has
but yes,
anything.
I do have a final thought on that. Okay. So it kind of gets into it's again, like I said before, it's comfortable to fight the monster that you know.
Yeah.
That's why. Was that gonna be?
That's what I was gonna. No, it wasn't. It wasn't.
Like that's kind of the reason why Tyrion is advising Dany to not just blatantly follow his buddy in something that he somewhat believes him in, because they don't know what, like the White Walkers and all of that are. So, I mean, it's easy to go and want to fight Cersei, and that's the popular choice.
Yeah.
It's the one that will actually get the people to follow you, not like, oh, well, we're gonna go fight this fantasy battle, which the realistic common folk aren't gonna, unless it's outside of the Northerners.
Yeah.
They're like, what the?
Which is
Seriously,
still
like, you
larger than
can't-
the rest of the which is still larger area than the rest of the country.
Area, yeah,
Yeah.
not population,
Population, yeah,
but
I know.
it's just interesting that he kind of levels with John, being like, yeah, I get it, but you're not going to win this negotiation with that tactic.
Yeah.
So what is something that you can ask me for, like, reasonably, what can I do?
Exactly.
Sure. My point was, I think Tyrion, it when it's all said and done, like, he's probably going to get zero credit, but he's just the mediator out of both sides. As both sides could not find any common ground,
They're in
but he's kind of
arbitration.
talking to both sides and building the trust between both sides without them actually meeting each other.
He's giving them both good counsel too.
Right. And I think he's going to get no credit whatsoever, but he might get a little
He
credit,
might
but
get Casterly Rock.
Yeah.
but not the credit he deserves.
Sure.
Was my point.
And I don't know. I think I will give Danny this one leniency there. I think if it's Tyrion that does it, it will be Tyrion that gets the credit. So, all right. Moving on to the next scene, which is in the same location of Dragonstone, but we have Danny and Tyrion talking.
So we have Danny and Tyrion.
Sorry, Luke, for jumping on your host duties there.
That's all right.
So Danny finds out about John wanting dragon glass. Tyrion tries to convince her to let John mine it, and Danny's like, "We'll see." Who's got any thoughts?
Glendog?
Yeah, so basically Danny was still being stubborn about the whole thing. Like, are you shitting me? Like, dragonglass? That's the big deal. And then, like, Tyrion's just like, look, like, you didn't even know it was here. Like, why not just let him mine it or whatever? And it's you lose nothing out of the whole thing.
Yeah, give him something and lose nothing.
Right.
Exactly. And then what was the one thing that a wise man once said? Do you remember the quote? I actually
Oh.
don't have the quote, but
When she goes, "Are you quoting yourself?"
I would never do that to you. I would never do that
To
to
you,
you.
think-
to you.
Yeah. What was that? It had to do with trusting him for a specific reason.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
The listeners at home will tell us.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Send us a tweet.
Call in or tweet us if you know the answer to that question.
We're actually
We're-
trivia.
The
So
phones are-
we could provide a copy of The Giver for every child in the country.
In the hat.
And oh yeah, by Brian Paulson.
Yeah.
Gay.
What about where,
Gary Paulson.
What about where the sidewalk ends?
Oh, Shell.
Well, no, there you go.
Mr. Silverstein.
All right. It's pretty much I loved how Tyrion was like, give him the damn glass, make him feel special. Just appease him.
Give
Then
the
you
kid some dragon glass.
Yeah, make a friend. You didn't like Glenn said, you didn't even know it was there.
Yeah.
And what was it?
Yeah, I like that she's like, what was that whole thing about taking a knife in the heart?
It's
I
three in the
caught-
north. It's-
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
like that had to be a figure of speech.
Right.
Yeah.
When like the truest thing that
Like,
they
wait,
said.
whoa. Yeah. What was that all about?
Yeah, which they clearly didn't miss it when they were talking,
Yeah.
a couple scenes ago. But it was just funny that she was like, "What was that all about?"
Yeah.
So, any final thoughts on Dany and Tyrion? Okay, so then we move outside Dragonstone to Jon and Tyrion.
Nope. Say that again.
Jon and Dany.
There you go.
Not
Danny and
Tyrion and Davos. No, so we go to Jon and Dany.
just name off who it was.
Aunt and nephew.
Well, it was not called Drogo. It was not Beric and Darren. Fill in the blanks.
Was it Lady Stoneheart?
It was not. Glendog, what happened in this scene?
Okay, so basically John approaches Danny. They begin talking about, the dragons and stuff along those lines. Very quickly they start talking shop. Danny allows John to mine the dragon glass at Dragonstone. They kind of come to an agreement, if you will.
Okay. Riley? You have thoughts on this?
Well, I think kind of it goes back to what Glenn was saying about Tyrion, is how he kind of just brings them together. We saw how it worked out when they first just came to a standoff. They were just essentially arguing with each other, couldn't find a middle ground. Tyrion comes and works his magic, and now that they're talking, like kind of clears things up. They're kind of buddy buddy. It's not an aggressive conversation.
Yeah, with the less formal situation, they can actually kind of remove a little bit of the onion layer to just like actually talk.
Yeah,
Right.
it's kind of like when the line, I think it was John or Danny basically saying, I don't believe, I still have my idea of what my kingdom should be. I do believe what my kingdom should be once this is all said and done. And John basically calling around saying, yeah, and I agree with you. Mine's not changed either. It's kind of one of those of I don't know. It's just kind of a cool scene where John's like, "Yep, I'm not going to bend the knee at this point. I'm not saying I won't do it at all, but right now I'm still king of the North. You're still queen of this island." So
Right, until
pretty much
proven otherwise.
until proven otherwise. But now Luke, you had 1 point up there, and I
Which
had
one?
a
Yeah,
the-
so
basically about John and
yeah, so
her.
she says, she lost her two brothers, which would be Rhaegar and Viserys, and she goes, and you lost two brothers too, didn't you?
and John said, "Yeah, but
he lost three brothers.
But he
For what everyone knows, he lost three brothers.
But Sam may have told him that Bran went through the wall.
They would have shown that. They would have shown that. There is no reason for us to believe that John knows that Bran is alive.
Yet again, Sansa may have known that Bran was alive because of Ramsay and Reek. Because Reek told her that he didn't.
would have seen that.
That might have been like
information being
speculation if
passed.
somebody's. Oh, Bran.
But
well, I guess maybe you could say John could second guess it when he saw Rickon, who he clearly thought died at the same time. That I could buy off.
Yeah,
on.
Yeah.
You see Rickon alive, and it's like maybe,
Well,
maybe Bran is
yeah.
alive.
yeah. So I'm
thought
just
they were
saying
burned.
that was one point I had.
He's not.
I
He's
saw
not
that-
burned.
Which news?
Yes. Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a big thing.
Oh yeah.
John almost.
That's when he was
He
about to
wanted
ride
go
south
back
again.
south,
Yeah, because it was well after his dad. After Ned was killed, and then
That was getting shot by.
But I mean, if you can't run in a zigzag pattern
what
through
good
a field, are you a brother?
Yeah,
Not a
zigzag,
good. Not
yeah,
a good one.
Yeah, zigzag.
So
All right.
yeah, again, like I like that. They both can't give in, and they both can't turn each other down entirely. Like they both know that they're right for themselves, and they both know that the other person is, has some good points too. But they need to work together. Like
Yeah.
I think they both know it, but they can't be the one that gives in, because then that kind of takes their own credibility down. Even I don't think John really gives a shit. He's more just like, "Can you help me?" Like we meet somewhere in the middle. But Danny really plays the bend the knee card earlier on and hasn't quite pulled back on that yet. Final thoughts on this?
And to piggyback off of that, a lot of these scenes you see like kind of not so much John and Danny, like a little bit, but like when you have two like sides meeting like that, and like one side tries to approach, like you see like I think it was like the Dothraki guy that was kind of like sitting in between. I think now they kind of know that they're not going to kill each other. They're not going to do anything stupid like that.
There's enough trust between
There's
them.
enough trust between the groups, at least, I guess. And they're kind of allowing Jon Snow to approach Danny, without other people like kind of having to be there just in case.
I
Sure.
think that says a lot about how the brother feel about what Tyrion has to say about the other person.
Mm-hmm.
He's a good mediator.
Yeah, I think he's doing a good job.
Good job.
Any final thoughts on John and Danny's second meeting?
Look after he walked away.
I definitely think she's got a little bit of the hots for him.
Yeah.
I think she's starting to respect him a lot, and I mean, she also still has the three things to wed and all that. So we'll see. All right. Well, we're gonna take a short 5 to 10 minute break, and we will be back. Let's pick a song, right?
For the kids at home, Riley is picking a song.
That was fail.
And now the song is playing.
There we go.
Of course you did. That's right. Well, why would you say I'm actually
It's like one.
a little bit behind. Yeah, and the word. There. I mean, I like it. Let's keep going. Yeah, literally, we have one beer. Me. And
Wait, we're going to give a quick shout out to the podcast come and join us for the podcast that must not be named, a chapter by chapter Harry Potter podcast where me and my sister Melissa go chapter by chapter, spoiler free for the most part. And every 5 chapters we kick it into the unrestricted section and recap everything. It's a lot of fun, so check us out on iTunes and rate us, leave a comment, and yeah, we appreciate it. Another quick thing to mention is if you do want to call into the show and leave us a voicemail to make it on, you can give us a call at 314-325-6553. Give us a call, we'll listen to it, and if it's funny or good, we'll put it on the show.
or sexy.
If it sucks, we might do that too, because that could be fun.
Yeah, we'll probably whatever you got.
All right, well, let's get back into our area by area discussion, and the next area we go to is Winterfell. This kicks off with Sansa, Micro, Royce, and Maester. So,
for the new listeners, we refer to Peter Baelish as Microfinger.
Right.
Just tire.
Petire Baelish.
Easy there, Tin Hat. Anyways, where were we at?
All right, we're at Sansa, Micro, Royce, and Maester.
Yes, so
and this is Luke's.
Sansa is doing some administrative type things as Jon is out of town. Micro tries to give counsel to Sansa. Gives counsel to Sansa. Riley, what'd you think of this scene here?
ending and even the iron or the Erie a little bit. Like, okay, she's doing obviously a great job at administering, but it seems like everybody's these are our problems. But what I like about it the most is that she's just kind of being very matter of fact about it. Well, shouldn't we be doing this if this is happening? Or I don't remember the exact stuff that was being said, but she's being very like, well, shouldn't this be the next step? Kind of. It's like, so she's kind of it's showing that she's actually doing a pretty good job at it because it's coming natural to her, those thoughts. And
yeah, she's learned well how to become a head of house from her mother, from Cersei and all them. But also the one thing that because my note was she was being a great diplomat, basically saying if they want to survive, they can come to Winterfell, bring all their stores, and whatever we have left over after the winter, they can bring it back with them. That way the whole North can survive at Winterfell, and that was awesome. And then I'm like, okay, great. She's great in the home front kind of mentality, but how is she in battle? Then all of a sudden she sees the breastplates, and it's like, are they made with leather? Are they lined with leather? And shouldn't they be for when the cold really comes? And they're like, oh shit, yeah, it needs to be. Exactly, so it's one of those like, okay, maybe she knows what the fuck she's doing. It's kind of kind of intriguing to see where that can go.
My takeaway from this one, Sansa, yeah, does a great job administrating, like you guys pointed out. But Microfinger still has this like kind of, he seems like such a worm. Like he still is just just creepily there, and I don't know. It just
Yeah, I like that Sansa is definitely wearing the House of Pants Stark. Yeah, wearing the pants of House Stark. And her pockets in those pants are all out of fucks to give for Microfinger trying to big league her. He tries to be like, I know Cersei, and I know that she's like, you don't know Cersei better than anyone here. Like,
yeah,
come on, I know her. I was pretty much tortured by her via Joffrey, like, and her directly, kind of.
sure.
But I like that she's just not taking shit from him because she's kind of found her place finally. The only thing that I have to question about this scene is like, does she really know that much about armory and and metalworking to be like, shouldn't they be putting leather on those? Like, yeah, they probably should be, but they're working like right now. Like, their answer, like, Royce probably should have gone over and be like, should you guys be putting leather on this? And they're like, yeah, that's the next fucking step. Like, give us a minute.
Yeah, that's
right. Yeah,
we're gonna do that later.
That's what those guys are doing. They're on the assembly line.
Shouldn't that be a car?
Right. Well, shouldn't you be?
That's just a screw.
Shouldn't you be filling out your timesheet? I just got here.
Do you have the TPS report? We need the cover sheets for the TPS
We're
report.
gonna need you to. Did you read the memo?
Yeah, hi.
Hi. Yeah.
That'd be
hi.
great.
Even though rugs off Littlefinger, Microfinger, his speech I liked a lot. I mean, I think it makes a lot of sense as to why he's where he is. Like, he was a no one, the Riverlands, like not
Vale.
From the Vale.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, the fingers are in the Vale.
Like, kind of a no one, but he was Master of Coin, Lord of the Eyrie, now, or almost, right?
Lord of Harrenhal.
Lord of
Right.
Harrenhal.
Still has that.
Yep.
But
Not that he's been there ever in his life.
like he said, maybe he's not always one step ahead, like I said previously that Varys is, but he's never surprised about something that happened.
Because he's fought all
prepared
these
for it.
battles in his mind.
And I think that says a lot about his character. And even though he's kind of a distasteful character for a lot of people, I think it's a respectful.
I think he's pretty impressive.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Yeah.
Final thoughts on the Micros and the Sansas? All right, so then we see Bran and Mira, and then Sansa.
All
right, Benji, tell us what happened.
So, Bran arrives at Winterfell, has a small but sweet reunion with Sansa, where she hugs him in his little old cart, wheelchair kind of thing. Later in the scene, Bran and Sansa are sitting by the weirwood tree. Bran tells Sansa about the three-eyed raven and explains Sansa's wedding night to her, and Sansa seems a little freaked out by that.
Not the place I would go to explain.
Yeah, you explain something else, I think.
Right. Like, oh,
Right.
I saw you at the
You
red-
look so pretty that night.
I saw you
Yeah.
at the purple wedding. You got blamed for it instead of like saw you get raped.
You don't have to make your point that you've seen everything by throwing that one.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. That's
You
the
can-
first one.
Work up to that.
Right. That's
Yeah.
Kind of like, if you really don't believe me now, after
I saw you
for
told-
example.
I saw you give
Yeah.
John a hard time at the council thing, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, wow, you really should have talked to him before or after that.
My only other one with that scene was where Sansa's like, okay, you're kind of creepy. I'm going to go. And Bran's like, well, I'm going to stay here for a bit. Yeah, because you don't have any other option. Sorry, your legs don't work. I'm not carrying your way. You just creep me the fuck out. So
Yeah.
it's kind of one of those.
Yeah, it just seems like, I don't know, Bran's a little robotic. Like he just
Yeah.
doesn't, like he has no emotion or anything like that in the scene. Like it's just kind of like,
Yeah, Bran was acting like he just came back from Burning Man or something. You know,
yeah,
just,
I don't know.
I mean,
just more wise than everyone, man.
Yeah, man.
He went out to that cave and found himself.
I found the stuff I've seen.
Hey, you want to talk about your rape? Yikes. Not a good line, bud.
I think I'm gonna go.
he
Yeah.
found himself
Ooh,
Yeah.
Becky.
Hodor with the cheers,
Another cheers for Hodor.
if we can.
That's
That was. Yes. So, all right.
oh, I need to drink more. I'm not knowing enough.
Yeah, you don't know anything.
Exactly. So, anybody else got anything for Bran Sansa Weirwood rape scene?
Not really. I think it's gonna,
Oh, I did want to say this. I
next-
called it last week. We would get a Bran scene this week. Just throwing it out
Yeah.
there.
I actually didn't expect when it first
Because
came
we all
out,
had to pick sides, right? It was gonna be Arya getting there or Bran getting
Yeah.
there. I think that was
Right,
clear.
I
One of
think-
those two was gonna
Yeah,
happen.
it seemed like from the last episode it's gonna be Arya.
I was thinking it was gonna be Bran.
Bran wins the race,
But clearly, he can't even fucking walk.
and I say this about like everything, but this is one that just kind of gonna tee up some of the next episodes.
Yeah, I mean, this episode is
Yeah.
before the next ones, so
Oh,
it's
yeah,
probably going to
he's-
be somewhat similar.
I wish John was here. Oh yeah, I need to talk to him.
Yeah, I like that Sansa just has no clue as to what Bran has become. Like
Yeah.
she couldn't even fathom. Like I thought you were the three. I was like, yeah, I said it was complicated. Like it's really really.
But
I'm
it's
still
not.
figuring. Well, get the fuck out of it. That is one of the most bizarre things that your brother could turn into. And you
Okay,
just
fair.
met him, and this is probably 15 fucking minutes
Well,
later.
it's like think about
Yeah,
this.
alright,
you're gonna have a hard
that
time wrapping your
Brandon
mind around
really
Yeah.
couldn't wrap his mind around it at first.
He's
whenever,
still working on it.
Yeah,
Sansa
when he
could at
first
least
figured it out.
tried.
Sansa talked to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he was
True.
he was
Yeah,
not, he was
Yeah. No.
yeah,
Fair point. Fair
incapacitated
point.
that whole time.
He was
for
a
sure.
little
Nobody
chap.
alive had Arya, Sansa, Jon
Yep.
all
No,
left
no. Fair point.
before.
Just Rickon, but he gone.
Yeah.
Benjen.
Okay, fair enough.
Benjen.
Benjen, technically, yeah. Dead Benjen.
Sure.
Denjen.
I said alive.
Coldjin.
Okay, very fair. You were man.
Fair.
All right, cheers, Ryan.
Cheers,
That was well
cheers.
said.
Good job.
All right.
All right, so now we are going to go to Old Town, and this scene includes Sam, Jorah, and Maester Ebros. Glendog, what happened?
Well, Maester Ebros looks at the newly healed Jorah Mormont. Ebros says that the gray scale is not active. Ebros leaves, and Sam talks with Jorah about what's next for him. They shake hands.
All right, so I like that he's like, I just started feeling better. It must have been the climate.
Oh,
Yeah.
I like that he,
Uh,
it's like one of those quick scenes where like you see two characters we've known for years and years, and they have like a very kind of distant connection through a different character, but they both really like him enough that they quickly get on the same page. You know, like I think Jorah really likes his dad, but he realized that he kind of had to go, and like that sucks. But it's just nice seeing that they can quickly become friends. And I mean, clearly
not having a
Sam
lot of time and
saved his life, but it's like,
having that small connection.
yeah, it really does. It's like just enough for them to like actually understand who the other person is, which a lot of times it seems like with the John and Danny stuff, they're still unraveling those things, but we've known them for a long time and they are very complicated. But like these two, they just get right to the point, and we're like, yep, they get it. They're with each other. That's cool.
Yeah. And I love the little nod when Jorah said that. Like he just behind Ebros, like, yeah, keep going.
Yeah,
That's
it's-
good. The
It's
little, like
very like you bring your friend over to your house, something bad happens, like have him explain it to your mom. Like,
He's like, yeah,
like,
you're saying that really well.
yeah,
Good
yeah,
job. Keep
yeah.
doing that.
going there. Like, she's
Yeah,
not
good
gonna
job.
tell you.
exactly.
Yeah.
I like the angle you took there. I like that. It was good. It was a good change.
Yeah, and I did like the parting. The parting handshake was full of emotion because Jorah basically had in his head, "I'm never gonna touch anyone again," and Sam was like, "I'm never gonna touch you, but
We're gonna touch.
we're gonna touch.
Let's
And-
touch.
Exactly.
Gentlemen, let's touch. Not here. We're not doing that.
Yeah. It just seemed like Jorah is gonna have one of those mindsets where I think Sam's always gonna be on his mind, where he did me a solid, so I'm almost gonna have to
Buffalo chicken salad.
where he's gonna owe him his life basically, but at the same time, he's gonna want to go back to Danny too.
Yeah, it was cool to see him like, pretty excited to go. creep on Danny again for a little bit.
Uh-huh.
He was like, "Yeah, get my creep card back."
I might get.
Not that I really don't have ill feelings towards, Jorah. He fell in love with her, like it happens.
Yeah.
Like, she's a pretty good catch, and he was about as close as anyone could be to her for years, and it's pretty hard to not fall for her, and it's just kind of tough, that situation.
Talking about one of the the beauties of Westeros, or
the most beautiful woman on earth. I mean, she's been called that multiple times, which, I mean, whatever
of the whole story.
Right.
Sure.
Final thoughts on this? You got anything, Riley? Yeah, I thought Ian Glenn, that the actor, his relief, his acting of like truly being relieved, like, I have my normal life back. It felt real. Right. It was very, very well done, I thought.
I got a question of, do you think after this scene, like, do you think there's going to be a lot of stuff in Old Town, the Citadel, or because that was like kind of one of the major storylines, along with Sam finding out different things, like about the the dragon glass. Like,
so if I look at my quick checklist of things that needed to happen in Old Town, Sam needed to start thinking about becoming a maester and working toward that. Check. He needed to research things about the White Walkers and the Long Night. Check. Jorah ended up being there. He needed to be saved. Sam figures out the cure for Grayscale and Grayskull. He's been to Grayskull as well. I don't know if there's anything else we really need from Old Town at this point.
That's kind of worried about. Like, are they just going to kind of?
And this is maybe get a speculation or spoiler, but unless some kind of warfare heads to Old Town to take it over as almost like a symbolic thing.
Yeah,
we don't have much indication that's going to happen, but
my thinking is that the show, the writers had the opportunity to get Sam out of there this episode, and they didn't take it, with him just being expelled straight out from the Citadel.
I agree. Yeah, I kind of thought that was an option.
And so I
kind of head out with Jorah.
Unless he kind of just ducks out with Jorah as he walks away.
Because he might think, I've gotten what I needed.
Right, but Sam still has Gilly and Little Sam, who we have not seen since the first episode.
Who were... No, yeah, you're right. Yep.
And so I believe that we may not get as many Citadel direct...
You can actually bring him down if you want.
Scenes, but we'll probably see a lot of development, family development between those characters.
You think that still happens at Old Town, though?
I think so, because Sam...
You think Sam's going to uproot his family again?
No, Sam will not leave them. And I think less so, because he's already told her to leave everything, come and live with this life. So I don't think he'll like.
She forced him to initially.
Right.
She was like, "Please take me with you from my father, husband, raper." But yeah, no, I think that's fair. I'm just curious as to what the plot would be there outside of family stuff.
Yeah, and I guess kind of my thing I was going to say, which is going to lead into our next thing.
Well, go ahead and segue us as well as you
okay,
can.
well, I'll say the next scene is Ebros confronts Sam about him treating Jorah's grayscale. Ebros gives Sam a consolation prize. Basically, Ebros explains that Sam is not going to get expelled from the Citadel, but like he's going to have to work at like transferring, the files, if you will, like the
basically Slughorn assigned lines as a punishment.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think what do we say? Like, this is probably speculation spoilers. I think the only other scenes we could get from Old Town would be like Sam doing that and then finding out something significant again, that is going to help with the other characters.
Oh, the White Walkers drive a green car. That could be something that he learns. You can just ask for a beer. This is drinking and knowing things.
Fair enough, yes. Luke took the beer that I got for myself, so I asked for another.
Pop it in the microphone.
One last add to that. Wait. The only thing...
You can continue to segue all night if you want to.
Hey, I'm not Paul Blart.
The only thing possibly find out is more confirmation about John's...
That's true. You could find something to do with
I can see that.
And then kind of both Other than that, I don't like you guys said.
I think I'm gonna go make a note real quick that we should revisit in speculations and spoilers other things that Sam could potentially find out that would be beneficial.
Yeah.
But let's revisit that in speculations and spoilers.
Sure.
And
Well-
you guys drink while I go ahead and take this. If
Okay.
anyone has anything cool to say,
Yeah, I was
go
gonna,
ahead.
this is probably not a speculation spoiler, but maybe Sam doesn't get on poop detail as much.
Yeah, hopefully. That's good. He may have upgraded from
for
poop to
his
tail
sake.
now. Yeah, he may have gone from shit soup, to soup.
Just soup.
Just soup. All right. So
Someone else be funny.
Okay,
Riley?
So we the next scene we head back to Dragonstone.
Yeah.
We're with Danny, Tyrion, Missandei, and Varys.
Yeah, so Danny converses with the group about what to do now that Euron has sunk the Greyjoy fleet that was carrying the Dornish and whoever else, and the other Ironborn with them. Basically, she's just straight up like, you know what? Fuck it. I want to ride my dragons. Let me ride them. I'm gonna take them out, and let's do this. And everyone's like, no, you can't do that.
Yeah, you might get taken by
That
a
is-
single arrow.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then what? And then you're like thousands of miles away.
You're gonna
too,
go. Let's
and-
go. Let's go hang out over the ocean.
Yeah,
Like I get it.
Right.
Drogon's kind of a badass, but like, really, you're gonna go. How long can dragons stay in the air? Like
Apparently from Essos, freaking Westeros, because there's no way
that's across literally the narrow
narrow
sea.
Yeah.
No
so
way.
let's say 100. Let's say 100 miles.
No.
The narrow sea is probably 100, at most 100 miles wide.
Right. This was on episode 1 we talked about this too, right?
No way.
No, they wouldn't sit on a ship, but they can land in Bravos, which is literally, 100 miles
They
away
flew
from
away.
Dragonstone. No, they did not.
You think they flew directly all the
They
way
had
from
to.
Meereen?
they didn't have a layover in Dallas or something.
More like Atlanta. They went Delta.
Made a layover in the Stepstones.
I think there was a couple a day of flying up as high as I could and just
Glide.
taking it easy.
Yeah, sure. I mean, and
But-
with the wingspan like that, you can glide. I mean,
And also, what you're
They are-
forgetting is we have said you cannot give a shit about the travel time in
especially
this
in the show, it's
You know,
yeah.
just
I don't think we really
don't
haven't
ask
talked about that
questions
much, but it's
if you
because
can.
you
it
just
will
can't
drive you
talk
nuts.
about it.
Yeah, it will drive you nuts. How like Littlefinger, Microfinger can transport. He's got his teleporter going. Half the fucking series. So yeah, literally.
That's, yeah, that's very very true.
You never know. There might be some
That's what I'm
portals.
talking.
So let's talk about that next upcoming scene. So Grey Worm and the Unsullied is the next group that we're gonna visit. Riley, why don't you kind of tell us what happened here?
Yeah, so all the while we see Grey Worm and the Unsullied coming up on Casterly Rock, which we
Up
have
here?
not seen yet,
Nope.
which is very exciting.
Nope.
And Tyrion is narrating this whole sequence. He's showing us how easily the Unsullied could take over Casterly Rock, and it's kind of a weird CGI-ish sequence a little bit, and then they do it, but there's a lot of death. Then we find out that's just not how it happens, and it was just a fabrication. And Tyrion's really smart, and he's like, "Well, I built these tunnels underneath." And so in this scene, he is narrating the takeover of Casterly Rock that happens while the Unsullied are kind of doing it through the tunnels underneath.
Yeah.
Benji, what do you think about that?
My feeling is it very much felt like a heist movie, like the end of Ocean's 11.
Yeah.
Kind of how Tyrion's doing this out, this is what's going on, this is what's happening. And honestly, I for like a good 30 seconds was like, okay, so this is in his mind of what's happening, but not of what's actually happening. And then it was like, okay, then you actually see Grey Worm going under the rock, and it's like, okay. So they're doing heist style movie scene with this, and I'm like, oh, that's badass.
Luke
I
and
loved it.
watched Wow, this is holy. fuck."
Yeah.
He's like, this isn't how it happened. I'm like, this is happening. This isn't how
That's
it's
the
happening.
first time they've ever done like the narrator
Yeah.
over the over the top, kind of saying, "I'm telling you what we're seeing right now." So like that alone
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
enough for me to be like, "All right, they're playing the cheese factor for a reason." like they're playing that card as
Yeah.
kind of a trope, kind of like what you're saying.
Exactly.
And that I think was enough for me to be like, they wouldn't do this siege completely different. Like, because the only other the major siege that we've seen from like that kind of viewpoint is the Battle of Blackwater. We see Stannis trying to be that guy.
We had that one, and then you had the Battle for Marine, which was the same kind of tactic of going through the sewers. Of
Yeah, but
10
we're on the other side.
So
Right.
but
No, that's
let's-
fair. You're right.
it's the
I'm
same,
with you.
same exact thing.
But we were still hanging out with Danny more on that one.
let's
Yeah.
talk about the sewers for a minute.
Yeah.
And
Talk about the sewers, Glenn.
basically, Castle Rock, Tyrion was in charge of coming up with the sewer system. Well, back in the day, Tywin didn't used to let him have like whores run around.
Yeah.
So he needed a way to have the whores kind of get there so he can
And we know how he likes his horse extra poopy.
bang them.
But Luke, where do horse go?
Sewers.
So,
Apparently.
anyways,
Tours in the sewers.
Cheers to that
Very
one.
nice.
Yes. Yes.
Ding bong. Ding bong.
So, anyways, yeah, the Unsullied come through Tyrion's little bang dungeon, and then that's how they get up to the top, and they start to kill everybody, except
I have a couple before we get to the exception.
oh my god,
Sorry. So definitely they had the
exception.
Let's talk about what happened in the books. No. So I like the kind of what they were saying. The impregnate the bitch.
Yeah.
They did that. They got in deep in the crevice and then made it happen. And like the whole speech was like super inspiring and very glorious and pretty moving. And like the Tyrion narrating and like the style of the CG felt very like 300.
Yeah.
Or Spartacus. The show was on Stars, I think.
Yes.
Like it looked very, hey, we're going to have like a big panned out battle scene. We can't actually have this many people doing this thing, so we're going to use CG. It looked just off enough, along with the narrating. That's why I was like,
no, I was
this-
with you with that. Until
it was the visuals of it that gave it away first, because I saw the narrator going on was cool. I was like, okay, this is the first time I know this, but then it was the CG aspect of it, which they don't do too often for things like this.
You gotta save the budget.
Right. I mean, and it seems like a cheaper. I mean, it looked good. I mean, it did, but like the way the ladders went up, it looked off to me.
I think the respectable part of it is that they did it in obviously a cheaper fashion, but it wasn't disgraceful. It didn't make me feel like, oh, they're cheaping out on this.
No. I thought it was an artistic choice to
yes.
almost do that.
I
Yeah.
that. And I could have very easily been need to fit this battle in here, but it's skip over it. And it also leaves, because we are so far ahead of the books, it's kind of like, hey, book fans, this battle's gonna happen. Maybe, like most likely, you're gonna get way more than we did.
Mhm.
So
That's
I think
an interesting side of that. Yeah. All right. So then, Glenn, back to your exception.
All right, if you're done with the points,
Done with all of the points.
So after that whole scene, Grey Worm notices the Lannister army is nowhere to be found. Well, I mean, there's a few people, but not as much as they would have thought. Euron is then seen taking the Unsullied ships and beating them to a pulp.
Pound.
Thoughts on this one?
Well, there goes the rest of your shit. Sorry, we took out the first half last night or last week. Today, here we go.
Yeah, you're not gonna be hanging out in the waters for too much.
And I
longer.
like how they did like it from a distance, and it was almost like a
From a
video game. Like you just can see like
Pew 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 pew. You could hear the missile command.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was really moving, but it was a trick, you dumbs. Like,
You
you
dumb.
dumbs. Like, it was Tyrion being totally called out for being over clever. Like, it was too fancy of a plan. Which, I mean, it wasn't like that.
Well,
It wasn't that fancy or like too complicated. It was just a little obvious for what you're dealing with other Lannisters. Like,
exactly.
they know what you're looking.
They all learned from the same man.
Like Jamie arguably all three of those characters are super smart. Like they learn.
I don't think it's argued. I think they are.
Yeah,
They're all
like,
very, very
all
intelligent
very
in
successful
different ways,
in different-
typically.
different ways. He's stepping into big.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's stepping into his brother's realm, and they are equally smart, but
You can't be
Tyrion's
clever
more
for
of a-
clever's sake.
Yeah.
over the table smart with it, and Jamie's more of I'm going to know that this is the way that like this is how battles work. So there's he was all really
Exactly.
clever.
Yeah, because he even
Yeah.
said in the next scene, which, if you don't mind, Luke, I will move on to if nobody else says anything.
Take us off. Let's go to High Garden.
All right, going to High Garden. Basically, Jamie and crew head out, and we see Lady Olenna looks on as the rest of the Lancer fleet that was not at Casterly Rock, which annoyed Grey Worm.
Annoyed Grey Worm.
Join the
Definitely.
Charlie
Why aren't they
forces.
here?
What's all these guys not being here?
They join the Charlie forces approaching High Garden, and they cut to the end of the battle with the Lancers victorious. Which, first of all, I loved it because you know what? You didn't need to have the battle.
That is a great. They did a lot of budget cuts in
Yes.
season 1 before they had it for battles and things.
Yeah.
And they usually made them feel decent. Like it was like, oh, I didn't feel really cheaped out on that one. This one was awesome. Like it was like, yeah, it was that easy for them.
Exactly. And now the one thing going back to that was basically Tyrion quoting Bronn of "Give me good 10 men, and give me 10 good men, and I'll impregnate the bitch." And the very next scene, Bronn's scene right next to his brother heading to High Garden.
Yeah, he does Bronn's idea.
Yeah,
and
exactly. It was like, all right, very well done, very well done. But also, yeah, like I said, I loved how they just skipped the battle, just Jamie walking through all the dead bodies and everybody captured, right up to Olenna, who, Luke, you have the best statement on this.
Olenna, what a babe.
Goddamn right.
Dude, she
Yeah.
looked good. Like her acting here, I mean,
Yeah.
that actress is phenomenal.
And what is her?
Like,
Rig.
Diane Rigg.
Man,
Diana Rigg.
Yeah, I mean, she was incredible. This whole scene, she was fucking awesome.
Fierce
and poignant and just very, very, very well done.
Yeah.
Basically, I think like since her kids got blown up in King's Landing, and like basically her whole family is, immediate family is kind of
gone.
Yeah, gone. She doesn't give a fuck anymore.
No.
Like if she dies, like she's like, okay, cool. Like I have nothing to lose right now.
Yeah.
Except for just helping out a couple people that are cool or whatever. But outside of that, like I can care less if I were to die.
Yeah. And like Glenn, you have this note, but really she gets the last laugh. It's still that, but it's like she gets the last laugh, and he really was a cunt, wasn't he? It's like, yeah.
And even before that, she had a great line. Was well, because Jamie said there are always great lessons and failures, and she's like, you must be very wise by now. Like, because I mean he's made some pretty big mess ups, and we see that he is a lot wiser now in a lot of things. There's one glaringly maybe bad choice that he's continuing to make that's not good for him personally, I think.
Well, that's like a crack addict, or a heroin addict.
I mean, that Cersei is his drug. That's I mean, he is in love with her. And maybe it's a speculation, spoiler. I don't know that she is as much with him. I feel like she uses him.
I don't think anymore as much.
Part of it,
No, I think it was. I think on his part, it was genuinely he was in love with her. I think on her part,
he still is, which is why it's hard for him, even when Olenna is calling him out, being like, she's a disease, and he's got it. He's got that disease, and I think he is starting to realize it, but it's hard to turn away from that. And this scene was huge. I thought it was really fucking good.
For me, how she asks how long does it last, because nervous just goes it.
No, she said,
not long.
will there be any pain?
Will there be any pain?
And he goes, no, I made sure of that, which super classy of Jamie, because I think he respects her a lot as well.
However, he doesn't know that like her last thing that she admits is that pretty much, well, some of the show watchers know for sure, but she admits that she was the one behind Joffrey's death, and you can see like Jamie just break down and kind of be like, "Because
I want to stab you through the face right now."
but I'm not going to, because I think like Tyrion got the whole blame for that, and he got Tyrion out of that, and
which set him on his path
to kill
currently.
Tywin.
to be against his,
to kill Tywin too. You're right. Yeah.
So it's just kind of like, are you shitting me right now? Like, Tyrion got the whole blame.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's why she chucked that. Because she knew she wanted to get that out. She knew she wanted to stick it to Cersei. She didn't care about Jamie. She wanted to stick it to Cersei one more time. But she was like, "Is there gonna be any pain? No. All right. Cool." And
kind of have a brotherly reconciliation.
I really
Speculars.
let's put that on speculation because I think that could be we could talk about that one for sure.
I didn't mean.
Oh, no problem.
All right,
but I definitely think this might be widening the cracks in Jamie's belief in Cersei, and we've seen that he's been with the Euron stuff. I think he feels like he's been kind of slighted a bit directly from Cersei, but I think he's still, until this conversation, I don't know, didn't think it was like a real thing.
There's shades of a Valonqar coming.
Bang sesh. I call it's the last time. I think that's breakup sex.
Yep.
Time.
Everything else speculations.
Yep.
And maybe.
All right.
So, is that it? Is that all we have for this episode?
That's it. That's the last scene.
All right.
Queen Diana.
Olenna.
Sorry.
Never a queen.
Well, no, I said Diana. The actual actress.
Diana. She should be a queen.
Okay. Queen Diana Rigg.
Diana Rigg. Yes. Queen Rigg. Oh, again, another
super cheers to a phenomenal actress.
Phenomenal actress on her way out.
House Tyrell
gone. Yeah, they're gone. And the rains came over their halls, and no one else to hear. Yeah.
And with that, we are going to take another short break, and gonna pick the song that we choose once I can get back to the app that choose. And that was actually Twitter, which is wrong. And all right, thank you guys very much.
Yeah, we're off. Mics are off.
Yeah, no.
All right. All right. So I added a little note to the bottom, the house name, house words, and the Joel. Like, so I got mine. If you want to type yours in, or if you already know it. And then, like I said, next week we'll do. Here.
Mr. Army has a long way to.
Huge. I like to expect. I guess the biggest surprise would have been the attack on Highgarden, because we knew they were going to attack Casterly, attack the Rock, and all that. But the attack on Highgarden, I think that was the big shock of everything. So, but no, I do agree with you, and everything else kind of fit. All right.
Okay. So that's all we have for the accuracy of the description.
Yeah.
Right. All right. So let's get into our favorite things. Riley, what was your favorite thing this episode? Glenn or Benji? What was your favorite thing?
Since we actually wrote our notes down.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Since you're getting people ears.
You're gonna go, Glenn.
Well, I was gonna say, gotta be Olenna owning the Lannisters one last time. Basically, she chugs the poison. It's like, oh yeah, I killed your son. Make sure that bitch knows, because he was a cunt. Yeah, she just owned it. But Glenn?
Yeah, my favorite thing was, I like how Dany and Jon, their meeting, like, just did not go as expected. And However, like towards the end of the episode, like you just kind of get hope that they're gonna figure some kind of common ground and something to build moving forward, and especially like after the aftermath of what happened at High Garden. You know, I think both side, at least Danny's gonna probably push to be more allies to John in the north. Because a couple big chips just got lost.
So I think my girl is not really one thing that happens, but overall this episode kind of had a theme of balancing the scales.
Sure, definitely.
Between Jon and Daenerys, between Daenerys and Cersei, between how lopsided we thought Daenerys was coming. Now the Lannisters are really back on. Justice between the Tyrells and Olenna and Jaime, and how she comes back at the end. I just like that we're at square one.
Yeah, and the fact that the Ironborn for Daenerys are completely gone.
Right.
As far, for the most part, and Dorne is completely out of it.
And
Dorne, for the most part.
Maybe it's not balancing. Seems like the Lannisters are ahead. Iron Bank's on their side, but in general,
It's also the middle of the season.
yeah.
which
is perfect.
We got 4 episodes left.
Yeah, haven't been touched yet.
The Lannister army has a long way to travel after High Garden. So wait.
True.
And next episode is Spoils of War.
Is that the name of it?
Yeah.
I haven't seen that yet. Okay.
Sorry, that's not.
That's gonna spoil.
No, that's all right.
That's something for the
God.
speculations.
It
And
is-
spoilers.
It is not.
Oh wait,
We're good.
Jesus. No, so we're gonna finish this part up and then hit. Is that all you have for your favorite part? Because I that's a good one.
How about you, Luke?
So I really like the Bran and Sansa scene. I know that it was kind of awkward, and I liked that it was awkward because it should be.
Yeah.
Sansa has no idea what Bran is, what he has become, and what it took to even get there. And it's just good to see that a song of consolidation and thrones is not always as cheery and rosy as all the fans want it to be, which is why the fans like it. It still surprises them, even when characters that we know really like each other and have known each other for years and years, but also have become very, very different characters. It's difficult sometimes. We see the opposite of this scene with Jon and Tyrion. Or even Jorah and Sam, it's kind of a different aspect of it. Like, they just met and they became best friends and they get each other like right away. Right.
Yeah.
Jon and Tyrion, they knew each other, they liked each other a lot, and they're right back on that same page, just in different positions themselves. So they're dealing with that other side conflict. But Bran and Sansa, they're on the same team.
Yeah.
They've always been on the same team, but they are very, very different, and that confuses both of them a lot. And I like how difficult that part seems. I think that was my favorite thing this episode. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and real quick head into our spoilers and speculations and spoilers section. So if you are not interested in hearing some guesses on what's going to happen next episode, or if you don't watch the episode preview, we will be back in a very short amount of time to discuss the next on, and also some of what we think is going to happen next episode and upcoming. So stay with us. All right, so the next episode preview starts off with Cersei has further discussion with Iron Bank rep on the map. Any thoughts on that? We see the map again. That's kind of cool. Clearly, that's going to be a thing.
The map. Yes,
It's the map. It's the map. It's the map.
Yeah, I think this might be one of those situations where the Iron Bank rep might have just kind of heard the details of what's happened with High Garden. Euron Greyjoy.
And maybe Casterly Rock too, like
Yeah,
they just
all
wasted
that,
all these
all that
resources
stuff.
to
Like
go
he
and take
might kind of
something that no
change
one
his
cares
tune a
about.
bit, and like maybe if you guys can get some money going, maybe we can work something out.
What?
Investment.
All right.
Danny and John next up at on the beach.
Ooh. Where
there's
is the beach?
Stormborn, like, Longhorn
Seriously, where is the beach?
on the beach. So does John
Yeah.
on the beach.
They're gonna be beaching.
Maybe in a nice dragon scale
Beechwood aging.
2-piece. Dragon scale 2 for Jon Snow there. I think it'd be kind of hot.
Yeah, man.
John in a
Dragon
2-piece.
Scale 2-piece.
John
for
in
Jon?
two-piece?
Yeah.
Sure.
He can brood. He can brood in the 2.
Oh, I don't think he'll.
If he's wearing a 2-piece, he maybe.
You think he'll be brood mothering?
Yeah, probably.
Okay, that's fair. All right. Yeah, I don't have a whole lot on that one. I think we kind of realized they were probably going to talk again.
Yeah.
If they do it on the beach, if they do it in Aegon's Keep, what's the difference at this point?
Yeah.
They have a lot of
They
things to
gotta
talk
go
about,
somewhere to
but they
talk.
do need to figure
Beach.
out where the beach is. And really, where is
Exactly.
Glendog?
Next we see Jamie and Sir Bronn traveling. Looks like through maybe like Utah or somewhere like that.
I definitely see some plateaus.
Yeah, some plateaus are present.
Yeah. Could that possibly be a Dorne? They're heading back down Sunspear, find a new ruler of Dorne, since we have no Dornish leaders.
Yeah, I definitely thought that it kind of looked like it could be the Prince's Pass. I'm gonna go and throw that out there.
Yeah.
But let's revisit that because I think
Yeah.
we see a little bit more of that area coming up. Benji, what happens next?
Jamie. Well, then we have Jamie with a loot of Highgarden. That probably happens before Jamie and Bronn go.
It could, or they just have that and they're
Got some gold.
Yeah.
they're hitting the road.
Which
to
going
go to-
back to my previous point of when Cersei was talking of with guaranteeing
Exactly.
2 weeks, she knew we were hitting Highgarden. We're getting their gold.
So she
you're
was
getting
playing
paid.
all of her cards that we're gonna take over Highgarden.
Exactly.
because-
Yeah. So she knew that was coming, and I well played on her because it's kind of one of those of she went down on Jamie, and then Jamie went down on Highgarden. It's kind of yeah, but yeah. So it's that kind of thing. So all right.
All right, and then after that, we see the Cat's Paw Dragon Bone Hilt Dagger being drawn by probably Microfinger. It
That's
looks
good
like the
assumption.
Microfinger ring is on the Microfinger.
You can see the small fingers.
You can see the
of
very, very tiny hands,
little fingers.
and very tiny fingers. They're great fingers. They're the best fingers around.
My fingers are.
But yeah, I mean, that could definitely play into the. I think there's another one
with
coming up,
Bran.
but I think that's going to come up in. I'll revisit this on another scene coming up. Riley, what was the next one?
Danny ain't messing around no more.
Yeah,
Mo.
she kind of is like, you know what? I'm tired of this shit.
Yep.
I'm tired of pussyfooting around. Is
She's like-
kind of what she's saying.
She's like, I'm gonna burn this bitch down.
Yeah.
Hey, that's all right. Speculations can happen all throughout, but really big ones have been in speculations. as
I
well.
think this is code. I think this is Mountain
Who
Dew
said
code
that?
red for.
I don't quote myself.
What wise soul said that one?
I think this is Mountain Dew code red for let the Rocky run.
Mountain Dew Code Red. I
See, I-
like that angle at it because I think most people are supposed to believe she's going to unleash
taking
the dragons.
Yeah.
But I like
Actually,
that
yeah,
side because that's
no.
a much more political move. Because
I hadn't
Westeros
started-
has
yeah.
seen.
Yeah.
That's why I like this. Like, I hadn't
Yeah.
thought about that either.
Yeah.
Westeros has been taken over by dragons. Like the memory is there. I mean, yeah, it was 300 years ago, but it's not. That's not that far out. I mean,
Yeah.
but the Dothraki have never been.
Exactly.
That is a big. Yeah. And I mean, that was the first thing that she said when she was trying to prove her worth, her valor.
Dude, they are way bigger. I think they've just been hidden in the whims.
You give
because we are.
Well,
they're way bigger.
I'm surprised they could fly all
No.
the way
on
across the sea.
Drogon's tail wings.
No, I stand with Jorah on this one. Give me 10 good knights in armor. They can take on 100 Dothraki with orcs.
But
Not in an open.
But on a siege,
Exactly.
but on a siege,
Yeah, but they're not going to be in a siege.
but they're heading back from Highgarden. They're on the road from Highgarden.
all right.
They're in-
Okay.
They're in Utah.
They're in Utah.
Okay, fair enough.
No, I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
The
That's
battle
fair.
for Utah.
Battle
for Utah.
Section,
Lake of
section
Salt.
Utah.
The Lake of Salt.
Utah Targaryen.
I can't even listen to all you guys. This is awesome.
Utah Lannister.
All right, so moving on. We got John in a Dragonstone cave full
Montana
of
Smart.
dragon glass.
Yeah, we see him kind of going through the crevice. Maybe he's going back to Cashley Rock. You never know.
Yeah,
He's
because they have the
No,
teleportation
He's
from
not.
Dragonstone to Casterly.
Yeah, we don't see a whole lot here. We just see him kind of going into the rock.
Quick
He's
glimpse,
kind of standing
yeah.
there, cave in the background. It looks like.
All right, Glenn. Then what happens?
Pod hits the deck,
Yeah, we just see him hitting the flow.
hitting the flow.
Next thing he
Yeah,
knows,
Already got no.
369
just
for
like-
Pod.
Podrick Payne has been training with Brianna Tarth, so it just seems like another just kind of training module. He's kind of earning his stripes, if you will.
Yeah,
kinda
he's been
taking
bent,
the punches.
He's been bowed. He's been broke. We'll see where that goes.
Sure.
Still the tripod.
Yeah, so after that, then we see Theon / Reek coming ashore, pulling this dinghy onto the shore. My thought is maybe he does something that actually kind of gets him a little bit of credit back with the Ironborn. I don't know. It's interesting that he's got a very, very strong face of determination there.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll kind of see where that goes, but I'm hoping
interesting.
that the last call out he had as being Reek might be the last. I'm gonna go say I think this is the turn. This is turning the tide for him.
That's kind of what I was saying.
Yeah, I would like that to be the thing because that would be like just enough flipping back and forth to finally hit it home and be Theon is the man that we wanted him to be.
We are looking for Theon Greyjoy now.
No,
Why is that weird? He was never really a bad guy.
I've always been Stark, right? So
Right, but he didn't do anything
for
with
a
you, sorry.
moment,
I mean,
did.
he
took over Winterfell.
did.
He did
took
not
it
as
over,
much as you.
Kill anybody.
He didn't take it over as much as it sounded and seemed like.
Yeah,
Right.
he basically was just trying to get his daddy's approval.
It was kind of a dick move, though.
Yeah,
It was definitely a
It was
dick
a thick move,
but
but
he was tough. He was put in a tough
Take it.
spot.
Talk
Yeah.
to
I mean,
to Riley watching, and I would not expect to be rooting for Theon.
So stay tuned in the offseason while we
Yeah,
talk to
I mean,
Riley in season 3.
Is a Cubs fan gonna not be a Cubs fan because they?
no, but it's kind of like okay, we'll put it out this way. As a Cardinals fan,
I don't know what you're getting at.
no, I can take this analogy and run with it. As a Cardinals fan, last year watching the Cubs do it, I can say, you know what? If they survived and if they won, I'm not going to be pissed. I'm not going to like it, but I'm not going to be pissed. Because hey, they've had a century of bad luck. Fine, go ahead. Was that 2 years ago? Never mind. Anyway, either way. But I'm not gonna I'm gonna root against them. But if they win, it's no skin off Midheath. It's kind of the same thing with Reek. Hey, he fucked up, but at the same time, it wasn't that horrendous because he's had such shit luck. He was a hostage at the age of 10. All he's known is basically he's a pawn in everybody else's game. So he tried to make one play. He tried to make one play, and then you know what? He got burned by it. So I root for Reek. I root for Theon, but at the same time, the dude ain't making it.
And then basically just kind of he got punished by Ramsay for what he did,
Exactly.
basically. And you see with Sansa going up, to Winterfell with Ramsay, that she was just kind of like, Theon, you killed Bran and Rickon, and then he like admits like,
Huh?
I didn't do that, and then she kind of changes her tune a little bit
Exactly.
on him specifically. So it'll be interesting. Like if he goes back to Dragonstone, Jon Snow's going to be there, and I mean, I don't know if Jon Snow knows, the scoop.
Jon Snow's
Snow's the scoop, the
Yeah.
coop.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No.
So after that, we have Micro being Micro. We say very, very, very
Whoa.
Peter. Oh, no.
Well, John and
Oh,
Danny.
John and Danny
travel through the caves, but that's kind of
It's
self-explanatory.
like the same as
John and
earlier.
Yeah.
John at the cave. John
Yeah.
now traveling through the caves with
I
appears
thought
to
you
be
guys started with
Danny.
that one while I wasn't paying attention. That's what I was hoping
No,
for.
sorry, but yes, Micro being
Not
Micro, I don't really get that one.
It's just Littlefinger
think-
looking like Littlefinger.
Oh,
He's
okay.
doing a
Yeah,
very
they show a, like
male-ish
a
Gotcha.
view.
a
With the
view of
eyebrows,
him.
He's got a schemer face.
he's got the
just,
eyebrows
the
going.
typical Littlefinger, I guess.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
he's little and he's got a finger.
Yeah.
That's what he's doing.
How symbolic? I mean, obviously it's all symbolic.
What's the symbology?
but How much insight are we
Symbolism?
getting into Targaryens and dragons? Is two Targaryens are walking through a dragon glass cave.
Yet again, he's not Targaryen. He's a Snow. Doesn't matter. They weren't married. He's still a bastard.
We don't know that they weren't actually married. We don't know that.
He was married to
And he wouldn't be a Snow. if
He was a Targaryen.
Ilaria.
He
You can
wouldn't
be
a
married to
Snow.
multiple.
He is
By
Snow if that
Targaryen
was the
law.
case.
Fair enough.
He would be a
Fair
flower.
enough.
Aegon,
Yes.
Aegon the Conqueror was married to both of his sisters.
Fair enough. Okay, I give you that. You are correct about that.
I
So
know.
He would
So-
essentially be a flower. Where's
No, he would be a sand. It was in Dorne if
What-
that was the case.
no.
But
Which Tower of Joy's in Dorne?
Tower of Joy
Yeah,
is in
it's
Dorne.
in
It's in the
Dorne.
mountains of Dorne,
Okay. Okay.
and
you're
it's
born or
it's where you're
You're
born,
born.
which is why
Yeah.
I'm a Rivers. But
Right.
the Tower of Joy is in Dorne. I think there's a good chance that Rhaegar and Lyanna got married with like a small ceremony with a couple quaint, a very quaint
couple
ceremony.
chaps.
Couple chaps. I mean, clearly Arthur fucking Dane
Yeah.
and
why did
Maybe Selmy. Barristan Selmy.
no, Selmy wasn't
No, no,
there.
no.
Hightower was there, and who was the
Okay.
third one?
wait?
Yeah, a Went.
Hold on.
George
Chuck.
Went.
from Cheers.
I
Which
just
one?
pulled it out of my pocket. Well, back
Sinful
on.
Hat. I love it. It's perfect for speculations and spoilers.
Why Rhaegar Targaryen put all of those fantastic knights in charge of Lyanna and her baby and just say fuck you to his wife and Aegon, the next dragon?
Because he married the Dornish as to suffice the king
Big
to.
tinfoil hat.
There's no tinfoil. He
No,
married
there's
the
a lot of tinfoil.
But he married the Dornish to suffice the king to marry Hailey, but he fell in love with
Yeah,
Lyanna.
but
So-
you still, all right, I get his wife thing, doesn't matter. He still has a legitimate heir that could be like, all right, just come hang out with this chick that you don't really need to know about.
But she was also in Dorne. He thought she was protected in
He
Dorne.
could have made efforts
Like,
to get him out.
She was protected by her
This is
own
big.
family's
I'm sorry,
people.
This is very big.
It's big.
sorry.
Yeah.
I will. So it's from the things that I've learned with a very tinfoil hat on. I will throw out the possibility that he knew that Lyanna was a warg, and that he also carried. And I will reference Preston Jacobs for the Dragon X gene theory. Check Preston Jacobs out. He's got a lot of very tinfoily, very, very cool shit going on. And Glenn just doesn't care. But
Glenn's drinking enough.
I think that Rhaegar realized that Lyanna carried the warg gene and that he carried the dragon rider gene, and that together, which there's a lot of argument that those are the same type of thing that warging and dragon riding or dragon birthing go hand in hand, that they are very, very similar.
Yeah.
That he's a very specific thing, and there are many Dornish people that have it as well because of the original Nymeria. Glenn falls asleep for this, and that's fine. But this is also speculations and spoilers, so he can go fuck himself twice. And so there's a lot of people in Dorne that also carry potentially the Dragon X gene. I'll stop here.
Yeah.
Definitely.
We need to.
So my thought is,
No, keep going.
He knew that she had potentially a gene that he needed.
valued
Exactly. He believed that she had the genes that he was looking to actually pass.
Wolf's
Yeah.
always better than the snake.
And if you want to take another hour and kind of explain.
lay in the wood. So
She was like Slay with some kind of hammer or something. Like, she
Like,
has
yeah,
something-
she's swinging a sword or something, and you don't know if it's like, you know, the training modules with Pod, or if it's she's actually like poning some fools, or you know what's going on.
And then we got Arya staring off of Winterfell in the distance. I do think she makes it to the castle this week. You know,
suck it,
she
Brian.
didn't-
You were wrong.
Brian,
Whoa, wait. She didn't make it to the twins, and she saw those too.
Yes, she did. She got knocked out by the fucking hound.
Parallel that you're going with.
Screw what I said. I get.
I see where
Fair
you're
enough.
All right, let's
Fair enough.
let's not call Brian wrong just yet.
Yeah.
I am
See
saying that
Winterfell
Brian
while
was
she
wrong.
Why
Or she could
don't
easily
you
get knocked out
refer to
by
Preston
Barry
Jacobs about this one?
Yeah. Oh shit. All right. All right. So,
So then we go ahead and see Sansa reading a book.
it's always good.
She's reading a book.
I'm gonna guess Harry Potter.
Sansa is hot.
She might be reading.
She's like, well, at this
Motorcycles.
point, yeah, she's like number.
He's
number
reading
two in the show.
motorcycles and
left,
whatever that one.
left.
Let's withhold the FMK of the entire show for the off season. Let's
enough.
withhold
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
We'll go season by season. We'll
Sure.
go episode by episode. FMK. How's that?
FMK.
That's gonna be our show of the off season.
Yes, yes, I'm good with that one.
And Olena. Okay.
Varys.
Various.
Oh, come on, man.
Really? Okay.
Solid choice.
Where would you dig? All right.
All right, cool.
All right. The last one that we see, Benji.
Drogon's on the move. There's a shadow. It could be someone riding him. I think it looks a little small, a little chunky, maybe missing half a nose, but could be wrong.
Pod?
No, but it does look like there's someone riding him, possibly Danny. You know, like I said, she gonna burn this bitch down, and she's just done. She's ready to roll. All right, so
All right. Riley, why don't you kick us off on this next part? What is your main speculation moving forward? Either next episode or through the rest of the season. Like what stands out to you like you think this is gonna
I think that Dothraki are gonna wipe the floor with the Lannister. 100%. If I'm a betting man,
like the traveling Lannister army?
yeah, if I'm a Iron Bank betting man, I'm putting my investment down on the Horse Lords of Rohan. And
The Rohirrim.
yeah,
Yeah.
Master of the Rohirrim.
they're wiping the
We're
floor
right
with the
back on
Lannister
door.
army.
All right, fair enough.
Because a lot of the the biggest things that happen in an episode so far have not really been shown in the previews. Like the things that we think are big have been Harris and John meeting, but we didn't see the Castle Rock takeover. Or,
yeah, I did. I called that last week.
yeah, but in the preview.
Yeah.
Was it in the?
Yep.
Well, I'm not learned in preview days, but
I did not see the High Garden.
The High Garden was the
High
big
Garden
thing.
was the big reveal.
that's
Castle Rock was.
They're
not.
doing a good job at hiding.
that's
Yes.
I think the
Hyde
big
Garden.
reveal.
Hyde Garden was 2 episodes
Yeah.
with the
Uh,
butts.
I think my
Grey
big
Worm's butt, that is.
my big speculation, Jory uses the teleportation, and as soon as Danny rides off on Drogon, Jorah pops up Dragonstone.
Hanging out with Tyrion and Varys.
Yep.
And then something about that is, and I know they took their weapons away, but Jon Snow has the sword of House Mormont, right?
He does. Yeah, Longclaw was originally
so
Mormont.
Originally Bearhead, then turned Wolfhead.
So he might see that and just kind of be like,
oh, Jory might see that. Yeah, that's fair.
yeah.
Because we actually haven't. Well, Lyanna Mormont should have seen it at this point because they were in battle together.
But again, the original sword had a bear's head, and then Jor had it changed up. Jor had it changed over to wolf's head for John. And no, I agree with you. I don't think Jorah would care, but
he'll mention it. Like,
Yeah, but
that looks a lot
hey,
like
nice
mine.
sword.
Hey,
Yeah.
cool sword, bro.
It looks familiar.
He's already stated this. He's not really more.
Well, yeah, they haven't given a shit about me in a long time. Yeah, that's
I
fair.
would love to see
Anyways.
Lyanna.
Which on that point alone, go ahead. Sorry,
Is it named Lyanna?
Lyanna Mormont,
Lyanna.
named after
Lyanna.
Lyanna Stark.
Lyanna Stark.
Skillman.
Well,
Jorah and Lyanna reunion at the end of this.
Right, because that's like one of his nieces, I guess.
I think
probably.
she's
so much stronger willed than him.
It's
Not stronger willed, but like proudly willed.
they're both honorable. Like they're both loyal.
I
yeah, no, I agree. That'll.
hey,
So, all right.
Oh, should we do a podcast about Game of Thrones?
No.
No,
You know what you should watch is The Wire.
I'm probably gonna watch the.
My big speculation. I think you're gonna see more with Bran. I think he has so much information.
Yeah.
That he needs to get out, and I don't know how they're gonna do it.
You don't know.
I don't know.
I'll
I
drink.
mean, there's just a lot of stuff that he needs to say, and I also know how he's gonna relay the messages.
The way he's talking right now.
The way,
it's gonna take forever at least.
He wants to talk about
Well,
Sansa's wedding night.
His sister's rave.
Yeah. So we'll see.
Well, let's just start. Wait.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, I couldn't see that.
I couldn't see when for a couple of seasons. Yeah, what happened there?
I
was blind.
I'll say my main speculation, but there's also something else I want to talk about too. My main speculation is I think Reek is going to somehow gain the respect of the Ironborn, which it's not starting from a good place, but that's for the show. It's not surprising that he could somehow turn that tide because with Yara being captured, there's no one else to do it. And I don't think they've lost all of their ships. They've just lost a lot of their ships.
Lost all but 3.
They've lost a lot of their ships. And Theon does have the name and he has the background to do it. I think this really is the final step for him to kind of take that role and get over the Reek thing. I think he is going to be Theon Greyjoy from now on. That's my speculation. It's kind of a big one, but we don't have that many episodes.
Fair enough.
We'll see. Another thing I wanted to talk about, and we'll get to the other things that Sam finds out at the Citadel.
Brian said she was going to go back to
he said
south.
she's going south.
Yeah. So, what are what do each of us think? Is she going to make it there next episode? Because I think it's either next episode or not this season. I think that's kind of what it's going to turn into. I think she will get there next episode, and that the dragon hilt dagger, the cat's paw dagger, is going to somehow be used for the Ned Stark execution information that Sansa doesn't realize. Like there's a lot of things that go into that, but I think she's going to somehow use that with Arya.
There was something that I saw, and this could have nothing to do with it at all.
It probably doesn't, but go ahead and say it anyway.
Oh my god!
Please.
Says the guy that was here like 3 hours late.
Yeah, and the guy that also talked about Preston Jacobs videos for 20 minutes.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to take my time on this.
Check them out on YouTube. Preston Jacobs.
There was like a picture from like a magazine or something in like the off season, kind of like a promo for the new season, like season 7, and it had like all the Stark children, Jon Snow, Sansa, Bran,
hanging out together,
and Arya. Arya had the dagger
in the hilt on her waistcoat, right?
Yeah.
wasn't quite a waistcoat.
I could see Arya, talking with Bran, talking with Sansa, and figuring shit out, and just saying, "Okay, Littlefinger, I'm gonna make it just a little bit more micro."
Yeah.
So,
It really, I think Arya is like the missing piece, but we haven't seen Bran with Microfinger at all.
no.
But it'll be, I think
I
Arya
think
is
if
like
he's
the
looking
missing piece for
anywhere in
this.
the world- But I will play double-edged sword because Brian's not here to attest for his sins.
Son of a bitch.
No, he's not here to stand up for
Okay,
himself,
but,
and
that happens.
which
Yeah,
is
and
how
that's
we
his
like
own
it.
fault.
Which
But
is
like
how we
I
like
said
it.
earlier, I think has harkened back to things that happened previously, and I think Arya getting to the twins and not getting to her family could potentially happen very easily with Winterfell. That being said, last episode I predicted that Littlefinger would be a big hinge in the relationship between Sansa and Arya once they're reunited. So I do personally think she will be back, but I think Littlefinger, Arya, and Sansa, and now Bran apparently will be a big triangle.
Dire Poe acid in the air.
Oh, I already.
Yeah.
All
All right. Well, is it all for our main speculations?
I think so.
Okay. So, what other things could Sam find at the Citadel?
I think Big R target.
Yeah.
Okay.
We could.
But we also know that Bran knows that, and
Yeah, but
Bran saw
Bran
the
knows-
Tower of Joy.
Exactly.
All of it.
Lyanna-
Yeah.
Bran does not know who his father is.
But he knows
And
Lyanna
there's
was
Targaryen
kidnapped by
men there.
Rhaegar.
I don't care.
So
Yes,
the only thing that I'll throw in there is there are stories that are told to Bran from Mira Reed and Jojen Reed while they're going
book?
north. Both. I think
Yeah.
it comes up in the maybe it doesn't come up in the
I don't know if it's
show.
in the show, but you're
I'm
talking
just-
about the
Yeah, but they
the
talk about
night,
the laughing night.
the laughing night. Thank you.
Yeah, the mystery night, which the laughing werewood tree on
I
the shield.
agree. I can see through the cracks in the story, and I also think that.
But Bran sees everything though, right?
Yeah, and that's the other thing is, I mean, he clearly
He-
Yeah, but he
he's
clearly
seen-
doesn't know
he
everything
can-
yet. He has to physically go spend his time.
the
in those
three-eyed
things.
crow was specifically showing him things about the Tower of Joy. I think those are things that he's going to focus in on because he has a comfort level learning that information. It's easier for him to find that out than other things.
Hey, I'm saying possibility he doesn't, and Sam finds it.
No, and I agree. I'm just. I
I'm not
agree.
a- I'm- yeah,
I agree.
I
No,
think
that's fair.
Easily, you could say Bran knows, but a possibility he doesn't, and it's Sam's job to bring that part around.
All right.
Other suggestions, big talkers out there?
No, I'm good. We're laughing about the
They're
next section.
they're squirrely whispering over there.
Yeah,
They have
so-
they have some funny jokes.
Nah, so all right, but I think we're good on speculation, spoilers. Now we're getting into like I said,
Alright.
tinfoil and
House name. Benji. House name. Go for it.
House McLean. Sly of House McLean.
Glendog. House name.
Glenn of House Dog.
Riley. House name. Befrathian.
Okay,
And I am Lucan of House Black Mead.
Luke, what are your words?
Ours is the drink.
Riley.
Elsa's voice?
All right, Glendog.
You miss 99% of the shots you don't take.
Mine are changing up. It's gonna be House McLean. It's dangerous to go alone.
And what's your sigil?
My sigil would be 3 gold triangles in the shape of 1 triangle on the field of red and black.
Yeah, that sounds like it goes right along with it's dangerous to go alone.
It's-
I'll just say
I
that.
don't think that's ever
Yeah.
been done before.
No, that sounds pretty unique.
Look, it's original.
That combination is new.
Exactly.
It's all fantasy lore.
Exactly. Nobody's
Uh,
ever heard of it.
Glendog, what's your sigil?
My sigil is, if you remember Spuds McKenzie, like the old Budweiser
Oh,
ad dog. I think it's like a bull terrier.
Yes.
He basically has a Wayne Gretzky Kings '99 jersey on,
I mean,
maybe
the
like a hockey
Blues.
stick with
Yeah,
a
yeah.
Or-
Just like a white background, like just hanging out, like on a,
yeah,
on a coat of
maybe
arms.
shooting a puck or something. I don't know.
All right, Riley, do you have a sigil or?
So good. I'm gonna. House Befrathian. Saturdays are for somebody else's kids, and a black and gold sigil with the beer stag on it.
Okay.
And the words say frat.
Nice.
Oh,
Okay.
that's so good.
All right, Luke Furious. What does House Black mean?
Luca Furious. That's a new one. I like it. My sigil is a black chalice on a gold and blue checky background.
Checky.
Checky,
yeah.
like
checky.
checkered.
No, yeah. It's square. It's,
All right, fair enough.
Yeah.
And
that's actually a quartered. Checky is where if you
no one has read that.
Dunk an egg. I guarantee
okay,
a
fair.
lot of our listeners have fucking listened to it.
Okay, fair enough.
The Checky water, they have a Checky background.
Fair enough.
Checky Lannisters.
All
so
right,
check them out.
Next week, guys, come up with what is your house sword's name?
House
Sword name.
Join us next week to find that out.
All right. Any other final thoughts?
Good.
Cricket. Rickety cricket.
Final thought. Who's in
Who's in
the sewers.
All right. Well, next time, join us live sometime in the week after the show. Check Twitter for that at No and Drink. We'll be live streaming on Twitch each week. Send us an email at noanddrink@gmail.com. Let us know what you thought of the show. Let us know what you think should be better. We're always taking surveys. And survey says, tell us. Find us on Facebook. Subscribe, rate, and leave a comment on iTunes. Until next time.
As always, don't turn your back on the wolf pack.
And as always, winter has come, and so did I.
And as always, stay imaginary.
Bye-bye.
All right, hit stop on the bottom.
All right.
We got to turn the live stream off now.